Go.
Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 141. It is an exciting week filled with emotions and milestones. Amazing things happening this week in the world of Destiny. This week we've got Watts, we've got Fran, we've got Briar, and we've got Datto returning to the show. Welcome back, Datto.
Welcome.
I almost called you Dad.
Hey. Thanks.
Welcome back, Dad.
Datto.
I'm used to it at this point.
Hey, Dad. Welcome back. I want to give a shout out to our Patreons for making the show happen. You guys are amazing, and yeah, let's kick it off. Let's do it. Lots of exciting stuff this week. Guardian Con, right?
Just came off a super exciting block of Bungie, so we definitely want to talk about that because that was nuts.
That
I
was
guess
crazy.
first we could talk about Datto. Your block was cool. You're gonna be dressing up as Marsov.
Yeah, at some point in 2020.
That's awesome.
Marsov
I've if I hadn't already committed to a cosplay this year already, then I would have tried for it, but I don't know if I could have got it done in this short of time. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
you got to do it right.
Datto becoming Mars. Is there like plastic surgery involved? Maybe a weave? I don't know.
no, I think.
Yeah, what do you think?
Do you need new boobies? Give us a
Well, I probably will because she is not normal human color. She's like purple,
You have to paint
blue,
boobies.
whatever.
No.
Honestly, my plan is to just like, I'm gonna try to go to a couple like theaters and talk to some costumers if possible, and see if one of them will do a commission.
Wow. Okay.
That would be awesome.
Because like they're gonna know the most about making costumes,
Dude,
and
that's next
sewing
level.
and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Right.
Gonna commission an actual outfit. That's gonna be impressive. Man.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know enough about sewing to make it myself, and I'd rather have a professional make it.
How much do you know about sewing?
Literally nothing. Literally, absolutely
For a
nothing.
second
At
there,
all.
I thought you were going to be, well, check out this
Yeah.
pillow.
It's like I'm just
The
an
basic
amateur
concept of using
seamster.
thread to join two pieces of fabric.
Literally-
I think we all get.
Literally know nothing
get
about it. So I'd rather just have a professional make it. It's like, I know that you're gonna do way better than I will. I will give you money. You make the thing, and I'll take the thing.
Some
and
pleating
we'll be on our way.
techniques and threading techniques, and they got the machine and the hardware and the different colors of
Right.
school and all that.
They
right?
do it for a living. I'm not gonna
And they're
beat someone
smart.
doing it for a living.
So
No.
the big question is, how you feeling about the eyes? And like, you're going to have some crazy contacts, right? Just like glowing eyes.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
you
those are
gonna go that
not
far?
too bad to find. What's tough is to find them where there are like actual contact lenses and not just things that you put on your eyes, because a lot of those cosplay contact lenses are zero strength. Like they don't do anything. It's
Yeah.
literally zero
Right.
zero on your eyeballs.
They're purely
The
cosmetic.
problem
And
that
my
I found,
eyes
like,
are really bad. I don't know if you see the thickness of my glasses.
Oh my God.
But I could kill someone with these. And
good
so the
sunlight.
challenge there is going to be finding contact lenses that also enable me to see somewhat.
It's rough because like usually the ones that actually do something for your eyes, like you can find blue, like brown, green contacts that do that, but
Right.
finding crazy color ones is much more difficult. to actually
Yeah.
find.
And
So I hope you find some. Otherwise,
yeah,
you'll be blind walking around.
which I mean, like I can see enough, like to the point where like I know that there's something in front of me. I
Impression.
might not know what it is, but I know it's there. And that
So
would just have to do.
You're
but,
legally blind,
yeah.
essentially.
I'm pretty like, if I take off my glasses right now, I can't read a single word on any of my screens whatsoever. Doesn't matter the size of the word. I can't read this thing that's right in front of me. I can't read that my 8-ball has the number 8 on it.
Can you tell that your
That's-
microphone is a microphone?
I can tell that, yeah. This close I can see.
So
But,
that's your only
let's not
weakness.
do that.
Anything beyond this is not so good.
That's your only weakness. We've discovered Datto's only weakness, guys.
Just
Yeah,
glasses,
I can't
that's it.
see. That's it. I can't see very well.
It's his crit spot.
That's
If
his
you're
crit
doing
spot,
DPS
yeah.
to Datto.
It's your
Go for
eyeballs.
the glasses.
I just got 2 technically. Very fast question for context. So you raised what, over $71,000 for charity?
Yeah.
What were the sort of tiers that you hit to get to Marsov, and anything else interesting you're doing?
Well, this is my 4th year of doing this, so I'm kind of running out of ideas. So I don't think my my set of incentives was as strong as they have been historically. $10,000 was I'm going to do a Twitch Sings stream for like, 30, 60 minutes, whatever it ends up being. And I'm going to release a video that I took of myself singing karaoke in Japan. That's probably going to go up either tomorrow or
Nice.
Saturday.
That's spicy.
I have not watched it. I don't plan on watching it.
I'll watch it.
Straight uploading it.
I just don't even want. I'm just be like, here it is, as is.
At
Don't
what
know
point-
even what's
do you
in
know
it.
what point during the night it was?
You might wanna
taken?
It was
check what's
pretty
in
late.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's scary.
Yeah, you don't want to
But-
just have like a quick filter check, just
Yeah,
Sometimes someone will
might
check
have,
for you.
I might
right?
have Danielle watch
There
it.
you go.
And be
Yeah.
like, do I need to adjust anything?
That-
Do I need to bleep out nudity or,
Or
I don't
copyrighted
think there was
music.
nudity.
Probably be wise. Have a quick check on that.
$20,000 was I'm gonna do basically raid night with my chat. Right now it's just gonna be PC, and then when cross save comes out, I'll do something with PlayStation, Xbox. 30,000 was another cosplay related thing where I'm gonna dress up as a goth GF. But
Nice.
that one's a little easier to do because
It's like a regular Wednesday night for you.
Yeah, right.
So you just go to your closet, put your dress
Yeah,
on.
it's basically like I'm
Monday,
just like, what do you
Tuesday,
got? Like,
Wednesday.
what do we got in the closet? And just put it on. Like it's not an elaborate
no biggie.
costume or
No
anything
biggie.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 40,000 is I'm dyeing my hair. Either silver or purple. I'm leaning towards purple.
The full thing.
Silver,
like,
you
full
run the
one
risk of just
color
looking like
purple?
an old man.
But
What,
Yeah.
Briar?
With silver, you just run the risk of looking like an old man.
Yeah, I know. It's,
I think you
don't
should
know.
do silver with little purple like highlights.
Ooh.
Mix it.
Maybe.
Well, there's a lot you could do, right? It doesn't have to just be one color. You could do like multiple different colors. It could.
You know,
go
it is
from one color
Pride
to
Month.
another
Maybe you do
color.
like the Pride
Ooh,
flag
rainbow.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
I think by the time I get it done, Pride Month will be over. So I think I'd
okay.
be just a smidge
It's never
late
too
on.
late to celebrate Pride.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
God, there. You go.
Yeah, Watts. I don't know. Like, I might do like different shades of purple. I don't know. Danielle and I have to talk about it because after we hit the 50,000, which is the Marasov cosplay, I was out because I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna come close to what I did last year. There's not a chance." And then we hit it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. What are we gonna do?" So it's 60,000. Danielle, if you don't know who Danielle's my girlfriend. She agreed to dye her hair the same color that I dye mine.
It's gonna
I don't
be
know if she's going to
adorable.
go for silver. So I think that's why we're kind of agreeing on purple. And then 70,000 was someone just like, you should do a Minecraft stream at 70,000. And I was like,
Okay.
Awesome.
all right, sure.
Minecraft's pretty
And then we
lit,
hit
man.
that. So I was like, I guess I'm doing Minecraft streams. I'm going to talk to Robbie V.
Dude, he's got some
Yeah,
crazy
that's
stuff
awesome.
going on too.
That was all my, those were all my incentives.
That's great. Love it.
And that had like
That's
some
awesome.
raffles and stuff. 2402, haha, Astro headset raffle and stuff like that. So
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
You have been very
Yeah, I was
memeable,
very
actually,
surprised.
over the last year or so. You've been very memeable with the
Yeah.
2402 memes and the
paper.
holding the paper up.
yeah.
yeah.
And
Pretty good stuff has come out of that.
yeah, by the way, great job on that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
You did
fantastic.
do great. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah.
it was really cool.
I baited my Discord into giving me some questions, and I baited some other people into giving me some questions because I was like, hey, I'm thinking about making a video like talking about some things that I hope Bungie addresses on this stream. What do you got? And then I was like, you fools. You had no idea.
Got
So-
him.
Yeah, I'm very glad that turned out well, and there was a lot of positive feedback from that. So
That's great.
was good.
It was good.
Yeah, that was great.
The Luke Smith, you could tell he was being particularly cagey, but you did get him like to answer some stuff, and it was good
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's only so many things he's gonna be able to answer. So
for sure.
True,
Right.
true.
And I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was
was-
great that you were there because like Luke has a pretty good relationship with all the people that live in Seattle area. So with
Mhm.
you being there, he could kind of like joke around with you, and it's not
Yeah,
a super serious thing, right?
right, yeah, like we've had conversations before, and you know we're part of the same gaming lineage from World of Warcraft, so we kind of understand each other in that front and everything. So yeah, it makes it very easy to do that kind of thing.
I was
in front of
curious,
the cameras.
Datto, because I've done these kinds of things and not sure how much you can say, but like how much of, did they want you to vet those questions first versus what were you allowed to put in there? Was everything sort of like they knew it was coming?
They did know what questions were coming, but they did not alter any of the questions that I was asking. So the reason they wanted the questions was just to make sure that they could grab the right people to put in front of me to answer those questions, essentially.
Right. And then
Otherwise,
of course, you don't want the entire stream being you asking a question and being like, can't answer, can't answer,
Right.
answer. Because that's not going to be fun for
exactly.
anyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were a couple of questions that were left off. Like I had a question about a thing that was recently announced, and they scratched that one off. And I was like, why are they scratching that one off? And then I realized, like, oh, they're not really talking about it like right now. They're going to talk about it later. So I was like, okay, fine. Otherwise, like, nothing. There wasn't really anything that was left off that I was like, oh, why'd you guys take that out? Like every question they had to take out made sense just because they were going to talk about it later. And they only took out 2, maybe 3 questions out of like the 30 or 40 that I wrote or like whatever.
I figured,
filtered down.
Yeah, the reason I'd ask was it was the Destiny 3 question at the end. One, I was surprised after all that they had allowed you or coordinated with you to talk about that they let you put that in there. But then it did seem that I think it was just the timer that Luke saw, but he was like, all right, anyway, that's the end of the stream. And I thought it was because you asked about Destiny 3. Was it, or was it just the timer?
No. I mean, like, that was like the timer going off. Like the timer had gone off like a couple minutes before already. So we were already over time. But no, they knew that I was going to ask. Yeah, they knew I was going to ask about Destiny 3. They knew I was going to ask about Trials. They knew all the questions that were coming, but they didn't ask me to ask like any questions in particular. They left it completely up to me to ask whatever I wanted. It was just a matter of how much they could actually answer.
That's cool.
Bungie is kind of like that, I find, in a lot of respects. Like, I think they were more uptight a few years ago, but I think now they're kind of just embracing the community a bit more, being a bit more open and kind of just rolling with it and not being so strict on stuff.
And I think the last 2 or 3 years, like they got that media training a lot better. Like I think they relied more on the traditional PR before and thought, whatever, we can just go out there and talk like we know. But then they found themselves in some tougher spots with questions. But now I think they know very much to be careful and to plan. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought the stream went great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they let me pretty much have free reign. And, you know, they kind of knew like I had to throw some tough questions at them because it's the whole point of having me there was to represent the community and ask questions that the community was going to be asking. So, you know, if I couldn't ask about things like Trials or Destiny 3, it's like, why even have me on? Like, just have a Bungie employee host it.
Yeah.
Right. So
that was really nice of them. Yeah.
Did you get a different feeling from any of the answers or being in the room, like about the Destiny 3 question? Like, did you get a feeling for like what's really behind that? Do you personally think we're going to see a Destiny 3 in the next few years, or do you think it's going to be longer than that?
At this point, I think it's a toss up. Like, they could just stick with Destiny 2 the whole time and maybe slowly make changes that they want to make. They could come out with a Destiny 3 next year for all I know. You know, maybe they need a little more time to do it. I personally would like to see a Destiny 3 just so that they can fix any major systems changes that they would want to fix that they can't just kind of overhaul in Destiny 2. So if they have to make something fresh, go make it fresh. Make all the changes that they want to make. Have our Destiny 3. Maybe just have it be called Destiny. I realize that might be a little confusing. But just come out with the final thing and then just expansions and seasons for the rest of the lifespan of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to see. It wouldn't surprise me if we never saw Destiny 3. But it also would not surprise me if we did.
Do you think the big fundamentals could be changed if they continue with just the way Destiny 2 is? Like, for instance, dedicated servers in the future of whatever competitive is. Do you think it's possible?
I 100% think that's happening now, Tefty.
Yeah?
Dedicated servers for PvP.
You think?
Like, I think that's the foundation that they're talking about.
I mean,
Splitting up
maybe
the netcode. Yeah.
I was kind of thinking more along the lines of
That's a big assumption, Briar.
I was kind of thinking more like subclasses. Like right now, our subclasses are locked into trees.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You have to pick a block. To get back to a Destiny 1 style system, I don't feel like they can just be like, all right, just break apart the branches and just scatter them everywhere. Like that feels like a pretty ingrained system into the game. And to revamp that might be pretty difficult in an already existing thing compared to putting it into a new, fresh game.
Like that's my thought process as well, because like if you take how they did Destiny 2 is a branch off from where they were with Destiny 1. So in essence, what we want from like a D3 platform, they'd have to be working on this version of the game right now and not have like split off to make these broad scope changes for D3. So that's
right.
Yeah, I would love dedicated servers and those like classes to be broken out like that, but it's tough to like think that's going to happen.
I just don't have enough.
Yeah.
I don't have enough knowledge on like what it would take to make those kinds of changes without coming out with a brand new game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But if you had to place a bet, if you had to just choose a year, the next big, like, biggest overhaul, not a Shadowkeep type thing, do you think, in other words, that it's just going to be like Shadowkeep for the next 5 years? Or do you think there's a year that, like, boom, I think they're going to drop something big? And my example, I do think 2021 is the year for that. I think we'll see another one of these. Yeah, we talked about this on the show, and my bet was we'll see another Shadowkeep-esque type learning, a little better than that next year, but then after that is when we'll get a big overhaul and a big fresh new start, so to speak.
I think that's a pretty fair bet to make. Unfortunately, we can't. I don't think Bungie can really go like, let's see how Shadowkeep in this year goes to see if we're gonna make a Destiny 3 this coming year. Because like if Destiny 3 is gonna happen, it's probably already in the works. Like they have to start working on it now for it to come out. You know, if they're gonna have something next year, like they got to be going now on that.
Yeah.
So they don't really have that freedom of having, you know, a ton of time to be like, did this work? Did this not? So maybe at the most they can see how much Shadowkeep is liked and then kind of direct any sort of D3 from there. I think what you said is probably the safest bet out of any of those options.
So you think it's possible though? In other words, I remember I thought Taft, Breyer, Watts, I forget what you had said, but there were some folks that are like, no, I think they're just going to stick to like kind of how it's been going. They didn't think that there was this big drop in the future, but if you had to choose which direction, that was the question.
When that live stream happened that you were part of, Datto, that's when I was like, I think this is going to be another 3-4 years out before we see a huge shift in the landscape for Destiny, because they're talking about action MMO stuff and they're talking about the future of the franchise for Destiny 2. They're not like they openly avoided Destiny 3. They're like, no, we're not. There's no immediate plans for Destiny 3. Their focus is like these type of expansions, the free to play model of New Light, all these things moving forward is Destiny 2. It's not Destiny 3.
Yeah, but they still got to sell Destiny 2 this year. So even if they have every plan of putting Destiny 3 out in 2020, like they're still trying to sell Destiny 2 this year. So they're not going to talk about Destiny 3 until summer next year.
Right.
Every time I hear people say D3, I kind of cringe a little bit, if I'm honest.
But it doesn't have to be called D3.
No, I'm just saying.
Datto was saying.
So I know people are saying to have like these giant changes with subclasses or whatever. It would have to be a new game, but in actuality, it'll be much easier for them to work behind the scenes. Say it takes 2 years, right? But they're working behind the scenes on creating this brand new subclass class system. And then instead of dropping it in a whole new game, which is, 20 times more the work of that, they can drop a giant patch and throw it in the game that we already have. So it's possible to make these giant changes without having an entire new engine, an entire new game, entire new system. It's possible to do
kind of like what they're doing with armor and transmog in
The
It's
Armor
think-
2.0 with the artifacts and
Adding universal.
Yeah.
ornaments or-
Again, like I just don't know enough about that world to be like, yes, they need to make a new game to make this happen, or no, they can just patch it over however long period of time it will take to patch it, or like whatever. I just don't know enough to be like,
Yeah.
yes, no.
Well, so that stream made it sound like to me, like as a fan of the franchise, what I heard from it was that they're focusing on D2 and they're going to make those changes
Totally.
to the Destiny engine, the D2 engine, and they're not like they don't have this other team that's like heavily focused on a D3 that we just have no idea about. Like, I mean,
They're doubling down on Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They want, they want to add more RPG aspects to Destiny 2. They want to, they want to rebuild the foundation of the Crucible. They have
that was
they
the
have
messaging
big
that
changes
I got
coming
for D2 specifically.
They have big changes to Destiny 2 coming.
Yep, exactly.
And they're not short term.
Yeah, but they got 500-600 people. See, this is why I ask, because I think it
Yeah.
generates good discussion. I still stand by, whether it's 2 years or 3 years, you want to add ray tracing, you want to redo the physics engine, you want to change how, when you have 6 people using a super at one time and all the work that goes into planning that versus the boss, there's so many things that go all the way back to 2014 now, and that's my point. Think about it. You're going to be 7 years out from then. So that's my hope, I guess, is like, look, I'm not saying fundamentally change where we're at. I'm just saying we need all this stuff uprooted, redone. And it is very hard to do. I've seen, development over many years. And the truth, it is very hard. Like, look at the netcode, them trying to take Destiny and fix it for Destiny 2 only got them so far. And, to your theory, Briar, maybe they're somehow going to work that in and without having to change anything. But that's what I meant when I asked the question. So it sounds like we're somewhere in the 2 to 5 range.
Plus, a brand new game is an enticing entry point for people who have never gotten invested in the game. Like a big old 3, a brand new number on a box is
Right.
It looks good to people who have maybe never played the game before. Whereas Shadowkeep, thank you. Whereas Shadowkeep is like, do I need to own Forsaken to play what do I need to, is it too late to get into the thing? Like, you avoid a lot of that situation when you just slap a 3 on the box.
But
I'd like to point something out though. So they've got Destiny 2 New Light that's coming, and it's going to be free to play.
New Light
they're
is
setting
or Destiny. New Light,
they're
right?
setting a precedent. No, Destiny 2 New Light.
It is still called 2.
It's Destiny 2 New Light. That's a precedent that they're setting right there. How are people going to feel if they suddenly have Destiny 3 $60 title come out when they have this free to play version that they've been supporting for a couple of years down the road? I think they fundamentally have changed.
well, maybe
the
Destiny
platform.
3 goes free to play as well.
Well, or it's
I don't think
or
that's
it's a broad expansion. It's like these changes, these giant overarching changes that we're talking about, is actually coming in this platform. They're just making focused changes as time goes by for each aspect. Like maybe dedicated servers are coming. Maybe they're coming in 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to believe that you take, ultimately, the games are running on something from that started, frankly, around 2010. So at some point, it's just hard to like hot swap all those pieces, and you end up with Frankenstein. So at some point, you gotta like redo everything. I mean, thank goodness Vicarious Visions did what they did on PC, but we're now in a world of 4K, we're ray tracing, we're brand new physics stuff. I mean, there's netcode, all the above.
It's like Call of Duty running on the Quake engine like 20 years later, and that was happening. Like that was
exactly. At some point, you gotta like uproot it. And again, that's not bad for the game. So I'm not, when I talk about it, I don't suggest, hey, oh man, I just hope they change everything. It's just like we need to be on a new foundation. That's all.
Yeah. Before that stream, that's what I was feeling that way. After that stream, I'm like, I feel like they're going to stick with this and shape it and make it better.
I like the changes they're making. The Armor
same.
2.0 sounded really fun to me. Uprooting the Crucible, like changing the foundation of the Crucible, whatever that means. Like, I'm down for a major change to the Crucible,
Nah, they should keep it the same. It's perfect.
The Crucible, honestly, like, it's not in that bad of a state right now. I think there's fundamental issues that need to be changed. Like, we need some better maps, right? Like, a lot of the
Dedicated
maps we have
servers.
have been created around 4v4, and they were tested on that, and they were like, this is great for 4v4, but they haven't had many maps that they've created specifically for 6v6. So I think better maps would be good, and I think just tuning supers be a little bit. But in terms of variety and stuff, like the Crucible's not that bad.
So my biggest thing,
Especially
I
right now.
agree.
yeah, go for
I
it.
agree. Well, I mean, like obviously, like certain weapons and sandbox need some tuning in general and all that kind of stuff. But like, I agree. Like Crucible can be frustrating at times, but for the most part, like average game of quick play, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that bad. Like I think maybe at the very highest level and the very lowest levels, there might be some concerns for those kinds of
Right.
players. But like right smack in the middle, I'm with you, Watts.
So
It's kind of like I just real quick, Tevsy,
Mhm,
just
yeah.
because I definitely don't think it's perfect, but I think that we've definitely gone past the point of this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. We need to change this, we need to change this. I think we need to bring in, supers in check so we can shut them down better or they don't last as long because in D1 supers were definitely like we've talked about a lot of times. It was more about positioning yourself perfectly to really make the most out of that super. Whereas in D2, you can kind of fly around the map and pop it wherever you want and kill a bunch of dudes.
Mhm.
We need less heavy and need some other stuff looked at. But I think it's in a place where I can go into quick play and not go, all right, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Which is honestly a huge, a huge improvement. Because for a long time I hated
So
all of it.
I took about 6 months off, maybe longer, because in Forsaken I stopped playing PvP because I needed a break from it. Coming back to it, I agree. When you jump into quick play, it's for the most part, it's very playable. You can do it's on PC specifically. You can do lots of different loadouts. You can use grenade launchers. You can use last word sniper. You can be a shotgun ape. You can use Yoden. Like there's a lot of options out there, which is really good.
Yeah.
And for just jumping into quick play, I think it's great. There is a lot of problems also, though, at the same time that create some very emotionally charged reactions to the Crucible, and some of that's heavy. Why don't they go back to how DB1 was? Like heavy ammo inbound. And it's just
I
two
agree with
times,
that.
2
100%.
boxes of heavy in quick play. So you're not just running around constantly with heavy all the time because somebody pull a brick and then dropped it on that. Like they should just have where 3 minutes, 6 minutes in, like you have a box of heavy ammo spawning on both sides. So you have heavy ammo time. That was super fun. And it worked. I don't know why they moved away from that. So they need to go back to that system, in my opinion, for quick play. And then supers that have insane amounts of armor absolutely need to be retuned so you can actually effectively shoot them. Like Lord of Wolves is opening up an option to be able to compete against a super right now, which is a nice byproduct over how broken it is. But it's a nice byproduct where it says you can actually challenge a super because you have Lord of Wolves. The other thing that's doing that as well is box breathing on snipers. Box breathing on snipers allows you to effectively headshot a super. Somebody's got hammers. I shot somebody for 200 in the head because of box breathing. I was like, it kind of feels like D1 where I actually feel like I can challenge a super. So between those two things, those fundamentally need to be fixed for it to be relatively balanced. And then there's the netcode. And the netcode is still trash. I'm sorry. It's just
they need to move to dedicated servers.
It's got to be dedicated servers. So
Yeah.
the problem that happens in Iron Banner and in comp and in high level play is that it is extremely inconsistent. One person, you aim at them, headshots all the time. The next person,
on a higher level than that, Tefty, you're putting your internet connection at risk every time you jump into the Crucible because anybody that you match up with could just grab your IP and DDoS you.
Yeah.
I really think it's
silly.
awful that like to play this game at a high level, you need to have a VPN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that should not be the norm. Like,
It's like, what?
like how do I prevent this? Like, put a giant wall in front of you. Like, go get this extra service. Like that should not
add lag into your connection in order to properly play comp. Like, that's just bad. And in 2019, they need to fundamentally change that. So aside from those, yes, quick play. Having taken a break and jumping in, quick play is actually a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it seem to be. Yes, there are problems, but as a whole, like an average game is fine.
Yeah, I'm telling you though,
a good time.
You aim somebody, headshot. It's like, wow, I can't miss on this guy. The next person who's just like apparently unbroken literally won't take any headshots. You can point right on their face, and it's like, I'm sorry, I just wasn't there because there's a 500 millisecond latency between us. It's ridiculous.
This is really why I don't fully expect it to happen, but I hope that change it, like building a new foundation for PvP includes dedicated servers. Like,
Yeah.
that would be
Or just
amazing.
netcode that somehow works for us.
That hides your IP address somehow.
Yeah, that you don't have to use a VPN, so you don't get DDoS.
Usually it's dedicated server.
Yeah, that's rough.
Is now a good time just to talk Lord of Wolves real fast and get it out of the way, or should we say?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
It probably is. Yeah, Datto, what do you think what's going on with Lord of the Wolves? What should they do? Keep it, change it, console versus PC?
I
don't know how
thought
much you've read.
that they were changing it so that after you get a kill, you can choose to activate the buff by reloading the gun. That's what I thought was going to happen.
No.
Clearly not what happened.
Just have it whenever you want.
Yeah, you could just do it whenever you want. It's like, why would you not do it for the most part? At least for PvP. Maybe PvE, you want to fine tune how many bullets you're shooting. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like you get a kill and then you have the choice of turning it on, which I feel like makes sense.
That does.
Does it not
Yeah.
make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Totally.
Okay. Like, I was like, am I crazy for thinking that that's what's supposed to be happening? So yeah, I mean, it's, I was
Luke
lucky
Smith
and I
did
played a
address
lot
it
of.
today during the live stream.
Luke said something, was it? Or
Yeah, basically they said that they're gonna leave it alone for Iron Banner, and then if you've played Iron Banner this week, you're gonna get like a special triumph, and then they're gonna hopefully nerf it like pretty soon afterwards.
I
What are they
really hope
adding a
that
triumph?
triumph is an emblem that tracks how many times you died to Lord of Wolves. That's all I want.
that would be great.
That would be
So they're
great.
adding in a triumph as like a make good of like, hey, we know it's pretty
Yeah.
rough out there, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
for-
kind of like
thanks for playing.
I survived Lord of Wolves 2019 t-shirt.
right. Little
But it
pin
tries.
here. I
Yeah.
played against Lord of Wolves and Iron Banner, and all I got was this
And
crappy
this
T-shirt.
stupid t-shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Awesome.
So yeah,
Seems like-
it's kind of
I
annoying.
feel like
did
we
like
all
how he-
agree with what you said.
Yeah,
I like how he
Good
kind of
solution.
talked about the length of time to the fix depends on how hard they want to push the developers involved in making the fix, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that they said that the fix for the raid race, they had just pushed them hard to get that done because that was a last minute change.
Yeah, because
So they don't want to do it again to them because they want to sustain a good work-life balance at Bungie. I like that kind of an insight, that kind of honesty. Like I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I can wait for a Lord of Wolves fix so that people can spend time with their families. That's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for,
Yeah,
thanks for laying it out like that because that kind of
love
honesty
that
makes it a lot
honesty.
easier.
That honesty, I really hope they keep doing this because as soon as you stop being 100% transparent and honest, it's very difficult to get back to that. But if you keep it up of just letting people know how it is, and just be like, look, guys, I'll be honest with you. If we're going to do this, people are going to be working, 15-hour work days, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that kind of honesty, people appreciate it. There's going to be some people that yell about it, but the vast majority of people are, happy to see an honest Bungie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good
I
if
think
they,
the timing is just bad. It's just like it's Iron Banner and all this like Swarm
Yeah.
of the Raven news is coming out. Like everyone get a swarm and everyone's flooding Iron Banner. Like if this was just during any random week, it would just kind of be more of a novelty. But because it's during Iron Banner and Iron Banner is already the way that it is, it just kind of exacerbates some of the frustration of it. So it's bad timing, just bad timing, I think.
Yeah. It is bad timing. But it's all good. People are surviving.
Speaking of Luke Smith in the Bungie stream today, or the Guardian Con block that Bungie did today, they raised over $400,000.
That's
in
incredible.
4 hours?
Absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
it's unreal. Really.
What?
Incredible.
People like emblems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$50 for an emblem, was it?
Yeah.
50 for one
Which
of
is
them. 10
awesome.
for the
That
other
would-
one. Yeah.
Something that they can do to use the game, and it's pretty agnostic. Anybody can have an emblem if you want it, and they've done this before, so there's precedent. Like, awesome. Everybody's willing to pitch in and do something awesome, but they get something out of it, which makes a perfect charity, an incentive that makes you happy as well as the charity.
Yeah.
That's killer, man. Jeez, so huge.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
across 2.3 or 2?
At least 2.2.
Yeah. It's really
Two.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
it was a wild stream. I mean, they were like 50,000 behind for like most of it as the ticker was trying to catch
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were kind of just hanging
is
out
broke.
watching the stream, and we're like, oh, they're at 30K in like 10 minutes. And then we're like, oh, wait, they're actually at 80.
Yeah, that they had to speed up
It
the
was nice.
ticker to like show messages
I
and
saw-
donos faster so they would go away.
It's amazing.
It's always a good sign. Yeah, it's at 2.36 million right now out of the 3 million goal. It's
Wow.
unreal. So thank you, Bungie.
And it's Thursday, and the Guardian Con stream goes till Sunday. Is that right?
I think so.
Or
Yeah.
does it end Saturday night?
Lupo
Yeah,
ends
I
it
can
on
check.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday?
Morning.
Oh, Sunday. Okay.
And he's setting goals for 1 million, right?
Yep.
Lupo
Yeah,
is
Sunday, June 20th.
gunning for
Yes,
1
he is.
million in 4 hours.
Yeah.
That would be
He's kind
amazing.
of the perfect person to do it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's if anyone's kind of noticed, like a lot of the Destiny blocks tend to do really well, and I think that's partially because we're such a like tight knit community, but also I think that a lot of the people who are a part of those communities tend to be a bit older, so maybe they have a couple $100 that they can send over. And Lupo
Sure.
comes from the Destiny community, so he has that
Yeah.
backing. But then he also got massively huge in Fortnite. So he kind of has the best of both worlds, like this massive game and community behind him, and then like this more tight knit community with a bunch of dads in it using dad rifles who got money.
Yeah.
So I think he could do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think he could definitely do it.
Yeah, no, it almost looks assured at this point, given history, it will cross the 3 million goal, which is just unreal.
Crazy.
I got to say, our Guardian Con block went perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
It was a typical DCP Guardian Con block or DCP anything. Briar ended up putting his butt on the line
Yeah.
and looked
Literally.
very scared
Literally. Yeah.
as it
Oh,
was getting
yeah.
closer to that goal.
It was great.
Yeah, yeah. We were approaching. I think we were only at like $50,000, and
I think
We
we
decided to
started
start
it at
adding some goals.
48,000.
yeah,
Yeah, and then
we
we
started
made a
adding
push to
goals.
try
And
get
one of the
75.
goals I threw out there was that Holtz never got the tattoo that he promised last year. So I decided
Unbelievable.
I'd take up the mantle from the coward that is Holtzman.
I think he's just planning on returning back to Japan
Called
to go
out.
to one of those bathhouses again, and that's why he can't get it yet, right?
Right.
Right.
He can put
That
it
was
under
his-
his armpit. He could put it inside of the butt cheek. There's places.
Inside the butt
Not a
cheek.
tattoo.
Uh,
Any.
I didn't say on the butt.
He could actually
hole.
put ribbon on the curve, on like the crest
you
of the
go.
curve of his
You
cheek.
might as well have a rectal exam while you're at it if you're gonna
Yeah,
do that. Good
this is a
lord.
ribbon
Hey.
right around the
Somebody's
cheek.
in there for 4 hours. Just
Colon cancer's no joke, kids.
it's true. You should have one at a certain age.
He didn't get the mullet either. I'm pretty sure bathhouses,
Yeah,
they
I know. You tried
allow
to pass
people
the
with
mullet onto
mullets
me.
in.
I told him that we're doing a makeover for him in the next couple of months.
Yes.
So if he's gonna get that, he better get it soon because we're fixing that head, a hair of his.
Beautiful.
He hides it all the time. I was like,
I know we're getting rid of the
Don't get that.
beanie.
yeah, good.
We're gonna have a Viking funeral for the beanie. By Viking
Okay.
funeral, I mean we're gonna throw it into a garbage can that's on fire.
Awesome.
All right,
like
I
this.
was
Perfect.
thinking it was going to be on a boat going down the river, and you shoot an arrow, and the lights.
No, that's
you
what
know?
it typically is.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we
don't
could
have that kind of
try
time.
and do the flaming arrow onto a thing on the river. We might get arrested, but we could try.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
you
Give
could
it a
have
chance,
yeah.
like a
Give it a good
little,
try.
one of those RC boats, And yeah, okay, yeah,
tow,
sounds
You
good.
tow it.
Yeah,
You got it.
Good.
And it's a very tiny trash can on a tiny boat with little mice shooting.
yeah, little mouse, little.
All right.
Yeah, it's been an amazing week, and it's been full of emotions as well because all the charity that's been raised for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital has been incredible. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for everybody who's done anything for it so far. It's incredible.
Yeah, people have been showing up real big.
Yep.
Real big.
Real big.
Crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So who is going to Guardian Con, by the way? I'm going. If Datto's going,
We unfortunately
is anyone thinking of maybe going otherwise?
we have family coming into town. It's yeah.
It was the same thing for me because
all
it's
right.
4th of July weekend.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
that's, especially in the States, I know, of course, in other places it's not the case, but that's kind of the time that people really put to get together, get to hang out in
Oh, it's
usually
big
good
time for
weather, no matter
family.
what, and get together. So a lot of us had those kind of issues. Pope's not even going to be in the country. He's going to be like traveling Vietnam.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
trip that was booked essentially around
Long time
last
ago.
year this time that
Yeah.
for his family.
Yeah, I think the team at Guardian Con, like they knew that was a big weekend for a lot of people with their families or just vacation, or because you got to have time for yourself, so it's nothing to be ashamed about. But on the other hand, I think they knew that was a good time when people have it off, and I understand that thinking. Like that's when RTX is happening, also is a big time, and so they know every year it's tough, but on the flip side, it's like, oh, I can go because I don't have to work. It's like one of the few days I get off, so it has its benefits.
Yeah, for sure.
They have already confirmed that next year will not be 4th of July weekend.
That's good.
It's great.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, I'm really sad I can't go. It's one of those events that if someone's never been, it always feels like a family, even though it's gotten bigger.
Mhm.
You see people
Totally.
that you don't get to see all the time. You get to meet people that you've talked to online for forever and just hang out
that's
with
the
them and
best.
have a drink. And it's a different feeling to going to like a PAX or E3 or any of that, right? It just feels like a big family reunion.
To
So
be
I'm
able to
really
like
glad.
see somebody that you talk to like through voice chat like for hours and hours throughout the year, to just be able to like give them a hug and have a beer with them and just be in the same physical space, because online friendships are great. Like they definitely add a lot to life, but having like real physical contact with people, I think is really important.
Real physical contact.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The way you said that, Briar, was a little monk-esque. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it because it's been a tradition every year. So
I just like going because I know like that's the one place where I know I can meet the most amount of people when I'm there.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
conventions that I go to, it's like, yeah, you see a handful of people, this and that. But at least I know at Guardian Con, like that's where I can be like, all right, let's meet. Just go down the line.
Yeah.
Let's get everybody there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like going.
Yep.
I really like getting shithoused with all my friends that I never get to really talk to.
Last year,
It's a nice byproduct.
Briar having a tap card going up and just
Oh my
Beer.
god.
Beer.
That was great. It was a great place.
Of course,
How many-
everybody's responsible in the community, so that's important. But
How many beers did
Right.
you
we're
have?
at a resort
Uber.
this year.
How many beers that last year
right.
was that?
How many beers?
Yeah. How much?
Measure your answer carefully.
Can you
I
actually
do not
count?
know, honestly. I have no idea. But I made a key mistake is when you guys showed up, you immediately sat down and had dinner.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of not doing that. Just immediately started
I
just making
figured you were
rounds
trying to
with
make more
beers in
room
my
for
hand.
beer.
No, man. Dinner was missed.
Yikes.
It was not intentionally missed, but it was missed.
Never a good idea.
No.
824 beers. Yes, that's exactly how much.
Yeah. How many kegs was that, Briar, that you drank? Oh man.
Anyway,
Yep.
I'm looking forward to Guardian Con. We will miss you guys, but
Same.
I'm
Gonna miss
cosplay
everybody.
as you guys. I'm gonna get a pinkish purple wig, and then I'm gonna get a beard and do both.
Well,
at
I'm
once.
sad to see
You do
that
both
the
at
Fu
once.
Manchu
I
is
mean, I
gone.
have one if you need to borrow it.
Yeah, can you
This is
bring it?
perfect.
I'll be Tefty Watts 5,000 or
It's
something.
not the
Perfect.
same. It's not exactly the same as Watts' hair, but it's similar color.
Man,
It'll work.
I don't know.
Close enough.
I'm thinking maybe.
Do we want to talk about the Eververse
Yeah.
changes?
Think
So
no.
Yeah.
Get spicy.
Oh.
this
Wait, I need Briar to head
Yes.
this conversation because Briar is the Eververse man.
This
He
is
loves
arguably the
Eververse.
biggest news of the week, right? This was like
It's
TWAB
huge.
quality news.
Yeah.
So there's changes coming to the Eververse. This post was actually made by Luke Smith, who doesn't usually do these, right? So it was kind of notable for that reason. You could tell it was important. So they're changing Eververse armor to be universal ornaments, and this is going to be backward compatible with old armor that you've gotten from Eververse as well. So it fundamentally changes the armor that you get from Eververse. No longer does it have its own stats. It's now just an ornament that you can put on armor that you like the stats of. Armor that you've earned in raids that have like enhanced perks or stuff like that. Like the stuff that you really like to use,
So cool.
but you don't maybe like the look of. Now you can add Eververse basically
Universal
ornaments, the armor ornaments to that armor, and
Eververse
get the
transmog.
best of both worlds.
It's
transmog,
basically
yeah.
bringing transmog, and it's so good because it's gonna work on all legendary armor, so you don't need like a
New legendary armor.
New
new
legendary armor.
Sorry,
Shadow
new
keep
all
forward, right?
Shadow keep.
new
Legendary
armor. But
I
it
thought
will
that was
work
very interesting.
with ones that you've had from Eververse previously. So if
Old
like,
Eververse armor, but new,
yeah,
but new legendary
New
shadow
Shadow
keep.
Keep.
For
Yeah.
Actual
New
armor. Yeah.
because there's
That's a really important
It
detail.
was last season that there was that really awesome hunter cape with the wolf on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did it come
That
from
one
the
is
raid?
great. No,
Oh
it's
no,
from Eververse.
it had a wolf. It
Alright.
must have come from Iron Banner.
Banner.
It was Eververse, Briar.
Oh,
Oh.
But now I'm
Huh.
happy about that
Oddly
because I get to
appropriate.
use it as an ornament in Shadowkeep.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm super excited about that.
That was one of my issues is that I could never get good rolls from Eververse armor. Like I just never like no matter what I ended up getting is like auto rifle sidearm reserves. And I'm just like, God, like, can I get one or two big pieces? Like I've only gotten 2 pieces of armor, both on my warlock ever that I've considered remotely good enough to use in my main armor set across like so many seasons. So yeah, I'm very excited about this, especially now that I'm collecting the Titan Optimacy set again. I'm excited to use
Yes. Yeah. It's great because
that. One of the best looking sets.
they put so much time and effort into making these cool Eververse looking armor. And then it's an immediate throwaway because A, it's never going to have enhanced perks. And B, they intentionally say it's not going to have that stuff. And they don't want good rolls on it because people don't want to be paying for the best rolled armor either from Eververse. So this is great. Big news. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single negative thing. I'm sure they're gonna expand it to hopefully the old Crucible and Vanguard and Raid and every other ornaments, faction ornaments, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like a beginning? Feels like
this is definitely the beginning of them probably rolling out all of those things. I see no reason for them not to do that unless it's like a technical reason.
I could see them doing stuff where there's like a transmog quest with each, like you go to Zavala and he's got like a transmog quest to unlock that armor for ornaments, for pieces of gear.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
even
it's
if
sort of
you've
like what
already
they did with
unlocked it,
season
even
one. Or not
Yeah.
not season one, year one.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You hit like a certain amount of like tokens and then you could unlock those ornaments.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask though. What are they gonna do about legacy stuff that you really like? Like we don't know yet. Maybe Datto, that's what you were kind of saying. Maybe so fall in the same system. Like let's say I like the Argos, Eater of Worlds raid gear. You were thinking maybe that could become ornaments like this. Is that what you were?
Yeah,
thinking?
like all the year one raids have those ornaments, and so I don't see a reason for them not to allow you to use those ornaments on Shadowkeep and later armor.
Yeah.
Right. Or
it seems
faction
like the
rally
right-
ornaments, or literally any ornament that exists outside of exotic ornaments. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't eventually get to that point.
Right. Yeah. Other than some like monster list of all the stuff you can use being, I don't know if that's going to be easy to use or not, but I like that idea. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, yeah, they probably won't have 2 systems like transmog. Normally, right, you would almost infuse something together. You'd lose some currency and you have this one-time fusion or something to make it look different. That's one way to do it. I mean, not all games do that. Some have ornaments. Like Dauntless is doing this where they have vanity ornaments. But yeah, meaning they probably will stick to this being the system. Is that what we think? In other words, they revealed this is how transmog will work?
I'm assuming. Yeah. Like you select that
I hope
ornament.
so.
seems like.
Yeah, I like this. I like this way of doing it.
Yeah, you get the roll and that's what you have. I mean, there's going to be Armor 2.0, which looks like you'll be able to potentially pick things. So that could change it as well. But I'm assuming the visual side is going to be separate from the roll side.
I think Universal Ornaments will be its own thing, and then Armor 2.0 will be like that sort of energy allowance system where you put in mods and you have a certain amount of points to spend, and so.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask. Do you guys think then maybe we're using Armor 1.0? I've got enhanced hand cannon targeting. Come September, do we think that's going to get light locked and they're like, you know what? you need to move on to this armor, and you're gonna maybe have ornaments, and otherwise we're gonna have to re-earn all this stuff. Maybe.
No, I think it'll just be.
I don't know though.
Like you're gonna want to use the stuff that has the new mods, like the new perks and mods, right?
Right. So,
Yeah,
but in other words, why would you use old stuff? Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I mean, I personally don't mind moving to new stuff. I think that's the more exciting part of when we get these big expansions. Like, all right, we'll leave all that stuff behind. We have to start fresh, new armor sets, new this, new that. And universal ornaments is sort of a way to incentivize doing that. Like, look, if you want to do the ornament thing, like you got to use the new stuff, right? You can still look cool with the new stuff. But if you want to use old stuff, like you still have the option, but you don't get as much customizability. I don't know if they've talked about Armor 2.0 having those adjustments on old armor. I'm not sure if they've talked about that at all. I'm gonna keep doing weird hand gestures until I get a confirmation.
Chat will help us.
Keep going, Datto.
Okay.
Keep going.
So I personally don't mind it at all. But I know there's a ton of people out there who like. There's people out there still using like Midnight Coup and stuff, right? Like, I mean, granted, it's very good.
Use it.
But like they incentivized using year 2 armor sets with like the mod system. Like you can use certain mods in the old gear and had different customization options, and personalization options and all that kind of stuff. So I imagine this is that next iteration where it's like, sure, you can infuse year 1 armor. It's not going to have any perks on it though.
Mhm.
Like, wouldn't you want to have perks on it?
Yeah, the new
and
perks.
then this year's like, this one has universal ornaments on it. You could use the old stuff. You don't get universal ornaments though. So it's
I
like,
hope it's more than just universal ornaments though. Like I hope.
oh, same.
Like obviously chasing enhanced gear right now is great in the menagerie because it's literally the first time that I felt like I've had a direct path towards chasing those type of roles. But I hope that Armor 2.0 really brings like a renaissance of armor perks that changes the gameplay fundamentally. Maybe not fundamentally, but like changes it enough to where it's like, man, remember when we didn't have these style of perks in our armor? Like I want it to be like that type of thing with Shadowkeep with Armor 2.0.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it makes sense that, probably, I don't know if it'll get light locked or not. It feels like it will, but like I'm happy to move on to the other gear as long as I can keep some of my favorite looks.
Yeah, I don't mind if they light lock it
for years.
When they
I don't mind. Yeah,
when they went from
they need to for me.
When they went to Taken King and light locked all of our year 1 stuff in D1, I thought that was great. I was like, okay, cool, new fresh start on stuff.
And I'll be honest, a 500 capacity vault, I have to delete it. I need to be able to delete it. If you don't let me delete it, I'm in big trouble unless you increase the vault.
That's
I
what's also really good about ornaments, right? Because we're not going to have to keep them in our vault at all or on our person. It's just going to be selected on the armor. So that's really nice.
I need it.
I love that.
So
that'd be a huge space saver for sure. I mean, I don't think I have like, dozens of pieces of Eververse armor, but I know I got some.
Yeah.
And I would like to get that cap space back. So,
yeah.
They're also changing the way that Bright Dust is awarded. So,
yes,
in the future, after Shadowkeep, Bright Dust is going to be rewarded for doing bounties, basically, right? Is you're actually going to earn it from playing the game, from like specific rewards, like bounties. Did they say also from completing weekly challenges?
They said Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit bounties.
Okay, so just bounties.
Yeah, well, we don't know if it's beyond it, but that's all they said, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. You can right now dismantle all the stuff in your vault that has Bright Dust like kind of value and get Bright Dust and save it for Shadowkeep. They're not going to change that currency, so you'll be able to save that and buy new stuff when Shadowkeep comes out. But once Shadowkeep comes out, when you dismantle all that old gear, you'll get no Bright Dust for it. So you want to do that now.
Yep.
You want to do that before Shadowkeep comes out.
All those shaders, just go in, spend a lot of time at Rahul, keep on clicking those buttons, just click.
purge that.
Purge the whole,
delete everything. Because it's gonna be you're gonna have ways to earn it, but it's not gonna be simply just like turn in an engram, get a bunch of Eververse stuff, delete it, get all the dust, right? Whereas you're gonna have to go play the game to get dust. And if there's something super cool in the store that you want to use dust and not the money for that.
Yeah.
Although I will say I'm getting much more comfortable with the idea of actually spending money in the Eververse store. Like when Destiny 2 first came out, I was like, I am not spending a cent on the Eververse store until like this game is in a way better spot. Still have kept to my word on that. Haven't spent a cent of money in the Eververse store, mainly because I can still get everything. But
I'll tell you,
I've been looking at some like, that emote, those arc emotes would be cool.
Those are cool.
I still can't get over the fundamental issue of like not having new gear in, you know, events in the world, but the Eververse store gets a full refresh. Like no vendor in Destiny 2 got a refresh with this latest season except for Eververse.
Well, every
and
season.
Like that to me, every season.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts because like
there's the Briar we know.
The best place to get new good-looking gear is to pay for it. I already paid for the game. I want to play the game. I paid for the DLC. Right. I want to play the DLC. I want to get new gear from playing the DLC, not from just paying for it from Eververse.
Well,
like,
I mean,
it's just
Black Armory had its own armor set.
Mm-hmm.
Gambit technically had 4 armor sets, but we'll call it 1 because they mostly look the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 technically armor sets, one from the raid and one from Season of Opulence, or one from the Menagerie that you can get. So there are still options. It just so happens that the Eververse armor, historically speaking, has looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's where we've all been, is like, we didn't want to spend the money to encourage it to continue to go in the wrong direction or not give us enough in-game, which has been a problem. It was bad in year 1. It got a little better in year 2. But yeah, I'm with you, Datto. I started to look at it and I was like, oh, is this $6 for this? Like in the way that I look at Fortnite. And I finally felt I haven't bought anything yet, but I felt pretty comfortable. I was like, yeah, because I feel like there's a ton in the game right now. And granted as well, we're on the verge of this new Shadowkeep. And that's why that was really good news too. Because it sounds like, oh, if I buy this, I can just use it on my new armor.
Like, I feel like I can actually use it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And
yeah.
that's even more exciting. Just use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
slowly
realized,
getting a little more comfortable.
I just realized I haven't been buying the armor pieces on each character every week with the dust.
Oh God, dude. No,
I forgot.
It's so much of a grind, dude.
Might just buy the thing with some silver, you know. I got some silver on me. Might just buy the whole set. I'm gonna have the ornaments for Shadowkeep. I could look like I'm in, you know, Indiana Jones.
I still have the 1,000 silver that they gave us for Forsaken. I haven't spent any of it. Yep.
Wow.
Still just 1,000 right there.
Nice.
I bought the Iron Banner emote. And I know, and I know that everybody was against it. I got so much crap for it, and I said it was for the funtertainment. I said, look, I got to do it so you guys can see it and watch my stream and figure out if you want it. And that was true. Meaning at the time, I was not buying a lot, but I did just buy it to show it off on stream. But I got a lot of crap for it.
Yeah, I would really like to see where the community's at as well, with just like, how do you feel about buying stuff from the Eververse now compared to year 1, where everyone's like, hell no Eververse stuff, don't buy anything from Eververse. Now it's like, game's pretty good, and it's getting a lot better.
Bungie's
$5
independent
for that emote. All right,
that'd be a good poll.
And it feels like more like I'm helping Bungie.
Yeah.
Fund their game now, as opposed to like when they were through Activision, and it's like, I don't know.
Activision with a free-to-play version of the base game coming out, like, you know, there's going to be a lot of people who come into the game, haven't paid nothing, and then pay, what is it, $35 for Shadowkeep?
Yeah,
you know, like that.
Right now,
you're really talking about a value proposition there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a lot of content.
I cannot wait to see what this game looks like with the free-to-play model, the base free-to-play model in there, because I think all the playlists are going to explode from people trying out the game. There's so many people who are going to be like, I should try this. I've heard so much. So-and-so's addicted.
Yeah, come back to it.
So-and-so at the shop is always talking about it, won't shut up. You know, maybe now I'll finally play the game because it's free.
It's all Tefty plays on stream, man.
When they did the free thing through Blizzard for a month, there were a lot of new people to join. Like a ton. Same with PlayStation.
Spike.
I think it was like, you know, you're talking... You go on like something like PlayStation, it's owned by a lot of people. You're looking at millions of new people just hopping in and trying it out.
Well, Season of Opulence has had a big spike, right? There's an article a couple of days ago that there's over 1 million concurrent or 1 million active players, like for the first time in a long time in Destiny 2,
according to third-party tracking.
Charlemagne bot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's still a huge deal. Like, I mean, not that we were ever down and like, oh, there's only 4,000 people playing the game. Like, it's never been that bad. But to know that the game has ricocheted back up towards higher populations is great.
Yeah.
I think it also really highlights how a season of Gambit focus just didn't really sit well with the community. Again, I know if you love Gambit, I'm not saying you shouldn't. In fact, I envy people who really enjoy Gambit and want to play it all the time. I wish I could, but majority just did. It kind of fell flat as a season, and people weren't necessarily interested in that content. And suddenly, there's a raid, there's a menagerie. You can actually farm for weapons that are cool, like Beloved Offstringer. Like these are great Destiny feeling weapons, and get enhanced gear. Like it's good times right now.
It's a really big job.
The menagerie is loaded with good stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Menagerie is so good, man. I love that I can just, I can go in whether I have a team, whether I don't have a team. Of course, Heroic's going to be different, which we could talk about in a minute. But I love that I can go in there no matter what, and I can just go in, farm whatever I want to farm, try and get those rolls. I'm not at the pure mercy of RNG. It's such a good experience. It's fun. The gameplay's fun. The loot is good.
Yeah.
I have no
the
complaints.
loot being good, I think, is important. Like, there's really good loot in there.
It's the closest thing I think the game has come to like a raid light mode.
Yep.
Essentially, like, World of Warcraft has like LFG mode for raids, where they basically nerf the crap out of the raids. They make them way easier. Health pools dropped. Everything's much easier. But there's still those mechanics in place that challenge you to some degree if you want to get through this place quickly. And I think that's really good. It's what I've been hoping to see for quite a while now, just seeing some more thinking required in some of these activities, but not maybe too much thinking where it's monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's that perfect balance of like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm doing stuff, but it's not like, it's not like I'm doing Valk every single time that I'm going to the menagerie, right? Where it's like 5 minutes of like hyper pay attention mechanics that I got to do before I can even do anything.
Yeah. I think it's great. I hope they build on that concept. I hope they don't just go, well, menagerie was cool, guys. Let's go back to these other concepts that are more focused on 3 people and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it does seem to me it really does seem like they took, what was that Mars event that came out last year?
Escalation Protocol.
It seems like they took a lot of the lessons learned from Escalation Protocol. Players, really like joining like a 6-man team, even if they're not, all in the same group, right? And taking on these bigger challenges and kind of like this massive chaos that Escalation Protocol became. Like to me, it seems like a lesson learned from Escalation Protocol.
Yeah. And I have a theory that with Menagerie, one of the design goals was that in the fact that we don't have matchmaking for the raids, and they're not doing that, seemingly, this might be a solution for that in a way. Like, it's a light way of getting you in together as a 6-person group, maybe, first of all, getting used to it. Second of all, finding some friends, but also, I mean, you're playing in some of the same spaces. There's some mechanics. So I don't know. I have a theory it was to like try to help bridge things a little bit.
Sure.
And frankly, I think it works. Like, I almost want to prompt at the end, if you had a really good round, to be like, yo, do you guys want to raid together sometime? Like, something that the game actually is like, yes, we'll add friends and somehow figure out how to just talk to each other. And like, you're really close to putting more people in the raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the raid is such a weird thing because they spend so much money on creating that content that such a small amount of players actually, participate in, right? It's like 3% that actually like participate in a raid. Is it something that low?
It used to be
10
to 15% a while back. So I don't know what it is now.
All right, so it's like a small percentage of the actual player base, and like what they've created in raids is like this enormous, huge things, and they're so impressive, and they clearly take a lot of time and development effort. So if they can like what you're saying, Fran, is like bridge that gap from like, okay, like I like to go on patrols and do strikes, in the evening. Every once in a while, I'll join my brother or my best friend or my sister, and like. If Menagerie is a gap, a step in the direction to like, okay, I'd like to try raid.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I really think it is. Like, if maybe they could build on that.
I'd never
What?
want to see him get rid of raids. Raids are like one of the best things about Destiny.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, they would never get rid of raids.
Yeah.
I think them adding a heroic to the menagerie is actually even more perfect for them ramping people up to raids, because you could go do normal menagerie, maybe it goes really well with a bunch of randoms. You're like, hey guys, do you want to try heroic, just see how it goes, and then maybe you build from there. You go do raids. So I think this could be really good.
Speaking of heroic, we got some more
boy.
details on the heroic menagerie today.
We did.
We did.
This is coming out on June 25th.
Yep. That is
next reset.
Next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yep.
That is Tuesday. I got some light grinding to do between now and
Yes, Briar.
You're back on the train, Briar.
There will be increased power difficulty. So the light level of enemies will start at 750 and will increase all the way up to 770.
Yes.
Matchmaking is disabled, like we said before. You must form a fire team to enter. I wonder if you'll have to form a full... No, you wouldn't have to. Weekly curated gameplay modifiers and rotating per boss. So every week it'll be a little different.
Yep.
Probably similar to how Nightfalls are now.
Maybe. I assume that if there's a void damage boss, they'll make it void burn and kill us all, because that's usually what
Makes sense.
happens.
Sounds right.
Just an ogre.
Yeah.
Extinguish is active, so if your whole team wipes, back to orbit you go.
Yes. And if you fail an activity, you get kicked to orbit. Callus is having none of your slacking.
I love it.
It's if you fail to reach 100% progress towards the boss after completing each encounter once, you'll be returned over. So there's like 7 or 8 different challenges in there. If after you do all of those one time, you still not 100%, you're out.
Get out of there.
Oh, okay. So if you fail,
That's what I read it as too.
Got
You
it.
had the chance for each.
Yeah,
encounter,
that's
right?
how I'm reading it. Yeah.
got
It's
it.
gonna be
But
hard.
your whole team
man.
can't wipe.
Right.
But you can-
if
you
your
can
whole
fail
team
forward
wipes
for a
at
while,
all,
right?
you're out. And then
It's
if
gonna
you
be
don't
hard.
get to 100% on the meter after you've done each of the challenges one time, you're out.
Then you're
You're out.
That's what I read
Yeah.
it as.
Interesting.
Because that's just like too poor of a performance. Like, no, you sucked at all
not
of these.
worthy.
Get out.
Yeah. Go back to
You've
normal.
been judged.
Yeah.
Heroic mode specific triumphs, rewards, and challenges await you. I want to see what the rewards are.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That is the thing that I'm most interested about, because Bungie has avoided prestige and heroic like modes for a while now, because they didn't have any way to itemize them, right? There was no, like, the last time they itemized a prestige level activity, it was a slightly different colored or textured set of armor from the raid.
Yeah.
Like, everyone remembers prestige Leviathan.
I want
like,
adept gear,
it just
Datto.
glows
I want
purple.
adept versions of the Ostringer. I want adept
that'd be
versions
awesome.
of the
Jesus.
Yeah.
armor.
So I'm
Absolutely.
interested to see how they are planning on itemizing these rewards to be more enticing than maybe the normal mode version, because for the most part, power level is what matters, right? And then secondary is like stats on weapons. Okay, your Ostringer gets a little more range or stability, whatever. But once you hit 750, like, that power hunt is, you're done with that, and that's the thing that's going to make you more powerful, is more power level. So I'm really wondering how they incentivize doing the heroic mode over a period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we think it's going to be the same weapons and like tweaked, or do we think
Well, it's
there could be
curated.
new weapons out there?
Curated doesn't drop right now in Menagerie, so curated versions of
Could
those.
be curated weapons.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe you can maybe put in another rune or something like that, like an extra rune for an extra stat boost or on some. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was hoping there might be something new, but that makes more sense. Probably a curated role.
Well, see, I don't think they want to cut the grind from regular Menagerie, because then people are only going to want to do heroic. So I think the random stuff and the actual rune stuff is still going to be in regular Menagerie, but I think this is going to be some sort of specific type of drop that you can get. Like maybe it starts quests for certain things, and again, like if you get the curated drop of Ostringer or Beloved,
Right, but they also need to incentivize it enough where people are not like,
Totally.
oh, well, forget the heroic mode. We're just going to keep doing normal, all right? Like,
yeah,
right.
Well, it triumphs too to get what's the seal this time around?
Shadow.
Shadow, yeah, to become Shadow.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah.
Shadow.
The title's called Shadow.
Oh, and how do you get that?
All the triumphs for
All the
opulence?
Shadow
it's just
triumphs.
all of the.
Yeah, all the
Well,
season
it's
opulence.
whatever the
Triumphs?
Shadow requirement is with all the triumphs.
I'm like Taft. I don't go to my triumphs enough. So there's a
Dude, I
what is
clicked
the
a
shadow?
ton
You
yesterday.
clicked a ton for the charity stream.
I knocked
God
out
bless
all
you.
Read
of
them
my-
all very carefully. He is now
But,
totally read up on the lore
Oh,
as
dude,
well.
I'm a freaking lore master. Dude, there's some people, there's some
But
balls. There's balls in Destiny,
know.
guys.
But I'm behind on that, so bear with me and apologies. So, like, what is Shadow Triumphs?
It's the Shadow
Seal.
Seal for season
So it's
of
like
opulence.
Ravensbane or Blacksmith or Reckoner
Or Unbroken.
or Wayfarer,
Right.
where you have to
Well, that's
where you
the
have a
title.
list.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So to get the title, you have to complete a giant list of triumphs,
Oh, okay.
usually pretty hard ones.
So Shadow is the title. That's the part I
Yes.
missed.
And
I'm
I
sorry.
want it because that sounds cool.
That's a cool title. I
Yes,
want
It
Yeah.
is a
that
pretty
was the
good
name of the
title.
title.
Okay.
Need it.
Uh,
Tafty, I hope you're ready to grind. Briar, you better get the level up. We're getting this title.
oh
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna grind
All right.
like
I
it's
hit-
1999 up in here.
Bro, you
I hit
better
742
be max
last night.
level, my dude.
Oh,
Dude, it's rain tonight.
Tafty's
After-
gone full on dad with Briar. It's been pretty amazing.
Did he explain a tether to him? raid memories.
I'm traumatized. I'm traumatized
He has
Fran
not,
from the
no.
raid.
It was great. Teft actually, Datto, he sat in a chair for a second. I was like, so Fran, come over here. Here's where I want you to tether. I was like, okay, I get it, dude. Like, I was just like an inch, not an inch, but like in the game, an inch off a tether. It's like,
Yeah.
like right here. You see this little spot? I was like, dude, it was amazing.
Well, you
It's
know,
full Teft dad
if you're
raid.
not actually tethering all the enemies that spawn,
He's right.
you gotta adjust your placement, right? So
He's right. Optimal, which Datto knows all about.
in the TWAB this week, Bungie also showed off the new Pride pin that's for sale in the Bungie
Yeah.
store, and it's actually
It's
really
cool,
cool.
man. It's really nice.
Yeah,
it-
Datto got it.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Definitely didn't take it when I was at Bungie 2 weeks ago.
Proceeds are going directly to the
Smile.
It Gets Better project, which is a nonprofit organization with a mission to uplift, empower, and connect lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer youth around the globe.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult, when you're in a situation like if you're in high school and you are queer or transgender or bisexual, LGBTQ. Was it IA? I think they've added to the end of it or plus. Like it's like you don't feel like you have anybody to talk to, and it can feel like really kind of crazy. And the It Gets Better project really outreaches to hey, once you get out of high school, once you get like out into the world, like it gets way better. You get to pick your friends, you get to pick your
Right.
community, you get to pick like it's so much better. And I love that message, and I think this is awesome that Bungie's supporting it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's super
Wow.
awesome. I mean, when you're growing up as it is, it's hard to deal with growing up and wanting to fit in, and you're figuring yourself out. And then to have this extra layer on top of it where you have more to figure out, and feeling like you don't belong and maybe you're alone and stuff. It's really rough.
Right.
So
to
it
feel
was-
different feels
yeah.
weird, but to feel different in a way that people hate you because of that,
Yes,
like that's fucking awful.
Yeah.
it is awful. So apparently the pin is sold out.
Yeah, but they
Awesome.
said that it'll
They're
come
gonna
back.
restock it again.
Yeah,
They keep
if you
restocking.
want it, there's a button that you can press that will email you when it becomes available.
It is
Yeah,
a great
they said-
pin too.
I'm definitely getting this. I can't
we
wait.
plan to have these available through Pride Month and beyond. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want one.
Cool.
Their pin game is good. I still have
Oh,
those
it's so
Taken
good.
King pins still sealed up.
oh,
Nice.
In the
forgot
bag.
those. I have the
They're so
D2
good.
Black Ghost reveal one. That one.
I got
was
that one
pretty
too. I
cool.
like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of information here about the collector's edition
Datto's
physical
got one
bundle.
Oh, he's showing it.
Datto Flex.
You're watching. Sorry, that's the one.
I'm just
Oh,
showing
dude,
what people what it look
Your
like.
pin game is
No, just showing.
serious.
Just showing. That's all.
There you go.
I want to
I
do
mean,
like a
it's-
Travel Channel documentary on your room, and you have like a whole like collection, and take us through it.
Dude, there was a time where if it was sold in the Bungie store, I wanted it. I've
Yeah.
since relaxed on that. But yeah, there was a time where I owned like, what do you think all this
All
stuff
of it.
is, right? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
respect,
So-
dude. Sorry, Briar. I was excited. To
No,
see
go
that
ahead. So the collector's edition is they've stated that if you order the collector's edition of Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which looks pretty cool, it's got like that Hive cryptograph thing and like some other cool collector's edition stuff. Even if it doesn't it should be delivered before September 17th, 2019. But even if it doesn't, your code should get delivered before that, right?
Well, I hope so.
So you'll be able to play the game.
I think the safest option that I would go with is the one without the game code. Just get the collector's edition, then just pre-order it on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever.
That's probably the easiest way.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that was a super good idea of them
Oh, so
to
good.
just sell the collector's edition, but no game
Yeah.
in case you just want the stuff, and then you get the game somewhere else.
For
Just,
It's
Nvidia
always
does
the
like
case.
deals and
It's always
wanted
the
the
case of buying
collection-
2 games.
Totally. That's it, right? It's the collector's edition. I always had to buy the PlayStation version to get the collector's edition. And then, whatever I was actually going to play.
Buy the game on PC. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always wanted the digital edition because I didn't want to put the disc in.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It'd be-
I have a few of those games that really bothers me.
Yeah, it's a pain in the
I'm
ass.
done with that.
I'm gonna put a disc in.
Yep.
I think that's it from the TWAB. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
It was a pretty short TWAB, right? It was mostly
Yeah.
the big Eververse news that was big, and then we had Luke come on and talk about Lord of Wolves, which was a big thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple outside the TWAB questions though, so I don't know if
Let's do
there's
it.
anything out there.
What you got?
yeah.
I
12 is
had-
just like a lot of Q&A. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for Datto, you're obviously known for your optimal DPS, your raid runs, and I think they can probably, and feel free to point that out. Allegedly, you're very well known for this math class,
Allegedly.
right? So the raid is relatively new. We as a team went through there. We figured out some stuff. A lot transpired. I was at E3. So like personally, but I know there's a lot of people out there that haven't gotten to the raid. And right now with Swarm, the grenade launcher out there, and Iron Banner, you've got Wendigo, you've got Mountaintop, but you've got people talking about raid DPS. And I was hoping you could just touch on for a moment. What should I do right now? Spend my time on for the next week or two if I'm like, man, I just want to like crush the raid. Like, what would you recommend for a loadout?
you go get a Swarm of the Raven from Iron Banner with Spike Grenade on it.
Okay.
That's what you go do.
That's
What if
Secondary,
I can't get it?
if you can't get a Swarm of the Raven, I'm gonna imagine you're probably gonna struggle with getting a Mountaintop and or Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what they could
But if
get?
you have both,
Outrageous Fortune.
Wendigo, Outrageous Fortune also works.
Where's it
Edge
come from again?
Transit. All Outrageous Fortune is the 150
anywhere?
RPM
Zavala.
grenade launcher from Vanguard.
Yeah, Zavala.
Oh yeah.
You can grab an Edge Transit with Spike Grenade.
No
Mhm.
way.
I'm not joking.
It's void.
I have a couple
It's
of
a
them.
void.
Is it?
It's only 120 RPM, but that's still void. It's still good. You can go grab Wendigo. Go grind Wendigo out for a little while.
Yeah,
If
that's
all of
probably the
those fail
easiest.
you, honestly, Rat King was working pretty well for a 2 cycle.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
Wow. You just get up
Outbreak
really
Pro-
close.
Yeah, you just get up really close and you plant a Luna Rift, and then you go to town. You might have to watch your ammo a little bit. Outbreak Perfected will work better than Rat King will, but I'm
Datto.
just saying it's possible.
What do you think about Courageous Surrender, which was a year 1 grenade launcher, 150, and it has spike grenades on it?
Is it void?
No, but the one plus of it is that most people got it from year 1, so you can just print it out of your collection. It has
Yeah.
spike nades and it's 150, so that was
Sure.
doing it's a great enough grenade launcher with spike
Knock
nades.
yourself out. If you can get it 750, go nuts.
Yeah,
730 out of the collections
from that
probably.
that spreadsheet that I'm blanking on who put out that spreadsheet.
Aoterra.
Aoterra.
And
That's
Flexpro.
yeah. They put out a spreadsheet and it was basically like if you don't have Swarm because of the 50% buff from Tractor Cannon, then
Yeah.
the next best bet is Outrageous Fortune with spike nades because the 150 RPM just out DPSs heavily with that. And
Yeah,
So
then,
you just want
it's-
art 150 with spike nades then, basically.
yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And then if you can't get a 150, you go for an Edge Transit. And if you can't get Edge Transit, then you just kind of work your way down the list and
Okay.
all that.
And
But
so-
it's pretty accessible.
And so you might have. Is it possible to have already acquired Spike Nade and Swarm Raven? It wasn't like there's something new with this week's drop. Is that right?
You could maybe have one sitting in the bank that you just don't even remember.
So I asked because I'm looking, and I have one with Prox and Spike Nade sitting in my dim with auto-loading holster and Ambitious Assassin. Like it's that.
Put it
There
on.
you go, man. You're
That's
good.
basically like I don't
boom.
need to grind out. I just infuse it.
If
Brian
infuse it up to
wins.
750, you're good.
Oh my!
I mean,
freaking God.
if you got
And-
one with hard launch and
Yeah,
velocity
hard launch,
masterwork,
yeah.
you know, and like what
Wait,
I've
field
just been
prep.
telling people just get it with Spike Grenade because for 99% of people, that's fine. For those for that 1% who really, really, really want to go full optimization on their grenade launcher, sure, you go with the hard launch and you go with the masterwork and the. But for most people, Spike Grenade,
Yeah,
you're good.
What's the biggest benefit you get from hard launch again? I mean, velocity, but
impact
is
damage.
that all?
Yeah,
Oh, the actual impact damage.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the velocity equals like kind of like when you die from being physicsed, like that damage.
Yes. Gotcha. Yeah, because I have volatile launch, which is not bad, or countermass. Anyway, see, like I learned
Spike
something
Grenade's
very
the
quickly.
biggest thing, and then
That's-
you throw
Yeah.
a boss spec mod in there as well.
Okay, and people use Tractor Cannon, like you said, on top of it, and it's like 50%.
Yeah,
on top of it.
it is technically possible to use Melting Point, but it's just way easier to use Tractor Cannon.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's all you need to know for the new raid, though. Is find a 150 RPM grenade launcher. At a
Grenade
base.
launcher,
Grenades.
yeah, and go to town. I still like using Mountaintop Anarchy, even though I know it's not the best, just because I like the concept of anarchy, just planting some grenades on the boss and having background damage ticking while you're shooting with another gun as well. Like I just like that.
Feels
Even though I know it's not the best thing, it just feels really good.
feels
Yeah.
synergy right there, right?
Yeah.
And for those of us who got Prospector already, like, is that like not good enough, or like people don't talk
It's
about? it
totally
as much?
fine.
Yeah,
Totally
so
fine.
like you shouldn't feel bad if you don't get or have time to get these other things right now. Just use Prospector.
If you have a Prospector, bring it up to 750. You're
Basically-
good with that too.
Grenade launchers are good, guys.
Grenade launchers are
They're-
really, really good.
they're
They
fun
turned
to
it around
use,
in a
man.
year.
Yeah. That's
Turns
cool.
out if it's a grenade launcher, it's probably all right.
When did the
Yeah.
Spike Nades buff happen? Was that during Forsaken?
I don't remember if Spike Nades directly got a buff, but I think it just kind of became more prevalent in Forsaken.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, because like once Forsaken hit and people were doing some testing, it was like, this is really good.
Yeah. Because grenade launchers got buffed in Forsaken, but the patch notes don't say how much of a buff they got. And then they got another buff in Season of the Drifter. And that's when they really started to take off. I just hadn't really paid much attention to it because I didn't have Mountaintop. And I was like, I don't care. I'll keep using Thunderlord. And then I got Mountaintop and I was like, this is really good. I'm going to use it more.
Yep.
Yeah, Mountaintop's fun too.
And yeah, and this pretty much applies to Menagerie too, right? Like you might as well roll grenade launchers, same thing, right? There's no
Definitely.
Usually, depending on the
Pretty
boss, but
much.
it's pretty much just been dominating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it depends on what burn it is. You know, if it's like solar heavyweight, you could probably throw it on 1K and that'd be fine too. But yeah, for the most part, you're going to be absolutely fine with a grenade launcher.
And what about supers for the raid? I mean, obviously, or like Fluidification and Well seem to be big, but beyond that, what do you
Beyond
think?
that, if you're at level with the raid, you're probably able to kill most of the ads relatively quickly. Celestial Nighthawk's great for boosted damage, but otherwise, I don't think there's a specific super that you would need. Maybe Tether if you're not comfortable with killing certain targets just yet. But yeah, otherwise, I don't think there's anything specific that you need other than Well of Radiance. And even that you don't technically need, but it's just really good.
Yeah, it seems pretty amazing.
Guys, what
that's cool to know.
if in 1 year the most optimal loadout is triple
Talk
bows?
to me.
Triple bows.
I mean,
For
it could be we're
DPS.
getting a heavy bow and Shadowkeep, right?
Right?
I would like
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to use a bow
And it
like,
has-
and have it feel like, hey, I'm not just like doing this just to fuck around.
It's got spike arrows and explosive ordnance or some crap like that.
I'd be down. I'd be
I'd be
down.
down.
I don't know if bows will ever reach that point unless they just got such a ridiculous damage buff that they were just torching everything else. But that would probably break the game to some
They
capacity.
feel so good to shoot. Like they just nailed how they feel, but they're just not useful for anything.
Yeah.
Datto, do you have Hush
Yeah,
yet?
like
I don't have any of the pinnacles yet. I've just been working on tons of other stuff and trying to get videos done. But this coming week is when I'm really going to be pushing the pinnacles.
Hush is the new SMG.
No, it's the new bow from Gambit. I've been chipping away here and there, do a few games of Gambit because Gambit. So
Honestly, I was watching
you
you use the bow and Gambit, and I was like, I think I could pass on this. But not gonna lie,
I'm specifically using Oath Keepers and Lemon Arc. See, here's the problem. I'm going into Prime because if I'm going to play Gambit, I'm going to play a playlist that potentially could give me a spare rations I could actually care about. So I'm forcing myself to do it in Prime, which is putting me at a disadvantage because I'm using a bow in Gambit Prime. So there's this catch-22 that's happening, but it's getting done. Like it's slowly chipping away at it.
Yeah, I'm close to being done with Reckoner. I got all the triumphant rolls done, so I just need to get all the tier 3 helmets and then play one game, and I'm finally done with that.
Wow,
nice.
So
I want that shadow.
Go right back
man.
in for Rush.
Tafty Bry, you better be helping me with the shadow title. Or I'm gonna
I want that too.
I want the shadow title.
That's the first title that I'm really kind of. I think I might go after this one.
Same, Briar.
Briar's going after a title?
Let's do it.
He might.
I really like the menagerie. I'd like to get that title.
Right.
Dude,
you get
want
the
title
first.
Shadow.
All right.
Yeah, when Shadow Keep launches, man, that's like I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
one.
it'd be
I'm
cool.
mainly just waiting for them to fix their flawless raid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
People
heard
have
there's
done it. I
some.
saw people do.
I know you can do it, but like
it's just RNG if you can do it.
I know you can technically do the raid flawlessly right now, but I'm like, I still can't get the title anyway, so I'm okay for now.
Did you guys hear Mark Noseworthy say that they do want to bring crossplay to console and PC?
Yeah, they said effectively on the roadmap that's something they want to get to.
Yeah.
Is right. This was
too busy right
so
now.
this was in connection with Stadia because they confirmed that Stadia is its own platform and not crossplay with PC. And they said that what they would like to do is have crossplay across everything when they get to that point with that, which
that's right.
That's great because it's like step one, let's have cross save work and have Stadia launch, and then step 2, everybody gets to play together.
Yeah, that honestly feels like September 2021 to me. But
why? Because you think they need Destiny 3 to make it happen?
No, because again, I don't. Sorry, I meant September 2020. September 2020, a year.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it'll be a year down the road. Because just tying that together. But I'm just speculating.
I'm just glad that they're it's in the mind share of Bungie, right? It's like we're not.
Oh, I'm
nice
sure
expecting
on
it
their
to come
mind
out
for quite a while now.
Shadowkeep, yeah, but it's nice to hear it out loud. Like I know that my wife knows when Father's Day is, but I'd also like to hear, hey, yeah, Father's Day's coming up. Hey, yeah, okay, good.
But yeah, Dad, I think you're right. And they mentioned that they were like, we've been wanting to do this for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be good to unite your entire audience over all the platforms if you can. I imagine they probably just want cross save to work and Stadia to work, and then once it's working, I'm sure it's a massive technical undertaking to get all that working.
Yeah,
and making nice with Sony and Microsoft and all that. So I'm sure it'll come at some point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't anticipate it very soon, though.
I'm willing to bet
especially
also,
not this year.
I'm willing to bet also that it's partly to do with the new console generation. Like maybe they want new consoles to be able to have like this other enhancement version of Destiny 2 that could then allow these other connections that are.
Microsoft's putting a huge push on that. It's like the play anywhere kind of idea of Microsoft's next generation. Like they're really going all in on that. Bringing. Is it Xbox Live to the Switch? What is it? What are specifically they bringing to Switch?
They didn't expand on that too much, but yeah, right. It was wasn't it? I forget if it was live or Games Pass specifically related. No, yeah, we knew it was just something to do with Xbox, right? That was during GDC, and I don't know if they expanded on that recently.
But
but you're right.
They're
working
having the
on
Game
something.
Pass be on PC and Xbox, theoretically being able to buy a game on PC and also owning it for your Xbox, like all that stuff,
right?
That Microsoft is up to right now, like it's so intriguing, and like for a game like Destiny, just works so well with like so many gamers' life. Sometimes you want to be playing on your PC, and really into it, but sometimes you just want your feet up on the coffee table while you're grinding out some bounties, and you can do that on the Xbox in your living room, right? Or someday maybe you could be grinding out some bounties on the bus while you're on your Switch or on your phone. Just
phone more
log
likely
in
with XCloud and that, but yeah.
Log into XCloud with your phone and grind out some bounties. Do the blind well.
That's probably the most likely. And you were right. It was Xbox Live coming to Nintendo Switch and iOS and Android, and they're figuring out, I think, what that is.
I would love to farm planetary materials on my Switch. That would be great. Just
awesome.
Because I always, especially after the raid, like I infused everything. I wanted to have a bunch of different weapons available. All my armor was, and I had a good amount of planetary materials, and now I have basically nothing. So, yeah.
Yep. The only crossplay reminder is they do need to solve the Crucible 30 versus 60 frames thing, and
well, that works out with the next gen of consoles, right?
Exactly. So that's where I think that would solve it. But if they include, Xbox One and PS4. Then they might need to have like exclude rules, or maybe it's.
That's what I'm assuming is that it would track which platform you're on, so it knows what can mesh with what. And like there could be opt-ins as well.
Like if it's a total crossplay environment, it only puts 60 and 60.
Yeah, it can detect what's an intelligent matchmaking option based on the platforms.
But in other words, like I don't think any of us have a problem playing maybe a raid together, right? Like if I'm on PS4 Pro and you're on PC, that also I don't care what you.
Yeah.
Too bad for you. I got 60 frames. You don't.
As long as you can get Discord on your phone.
As long as you can shoot the tether in the right spot, we're good, right?
Right, but it creates the problem is if I'm able to do that, then why doesn't Crucible work? And together, right? And they'll have to solve. Like literally, you'd be playing together, and it's like, yo, let's hop in the Crucible. It's like, they'll have to figure that out.
Yep.
Well, you can do it like Fortnite does it. It's like by default you just play with other people on console, but if you do want to play with your friends who are on PC, then you can.
Right, but console runs
like
at 60
opt-in
on Fortnite.
Console runs.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying though is if it runs at 30 on both consoles, just have one player pool on both consoles playing at 30. But if you do want to play with your friends on PC, allow it, but by default you would go into the console player pool if you were playing on console, and the PC player pool maybe it gets merged with the Google Stadia player pool because they're not gonna have anybody on that.
We'll see, but
that's gonna be a
ghost town.
It's gonna be tumbleweeds blowing through.
Some long matchmaking queues.
We'll see. I mean, technically, it's only open to founders, but it is in full release in November for Stadia. But we'll see how many people want to plunk down that 150 to start. But otherwise, we don't know the price point and what's coming when.
I did it, but it's mostly out of curiosity. Like I'm just
curious.
Well, you want that username, don't you?
Yeah,
right. Well,
that's what it is.
I'm gonna reserve Miss 5,000 watts.
Wonderful. I'm gonna get Bry Rabbit.
It's gonna be my new.
We'll just take each other's name.
You guys want to do some Twitter questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Max says, got to meet Datto at TwitchCon last year. Does he think Shadowkeep Raid will launch on the weekend of TwitchCon this year? Still trying to decide if I want to go myself, considering the Raid very well might launch the same weekend.
When's Twitch this coming year, TwitchCon? Does anyone know offhand?
When is TwitchCon? Oh, I felt like it was October. I'll look it up right now.
TwitchCon 2019
Tickets
is
available
September 27th
to the 29th.
Ooh.
Oh God, why? That's like days after the raid, probably. Like if it's 10 days out.
That's a maybe. It's a big maybe.
Yeah, Shadowkeep is out on the 17th. Oof.
Jeez, thanks for asking this
Um,
question, Max.
We're all planning.
Well, it depends on how much the light level goes up, I think. Right now, I think a lot of people are under the assumption that it's going to go up to 800. We've seen 800 in the Vidoc. If it does only go up to 800, I could see a situation where it comes out on
Friday,
that Friday.
which is
I could see a situation where it comes out the following Tuesday.
20th,
I think 10
yeah.
days would be a little long if it was only a 50 light upgrade that we were getting. So I think it depends on how much of a light boost we are or how much of a power boost we are getting, how high is the cap going, and all that, and
The
how much
power
time
per
we
hour.
expect to grind.
They're probably going to do
And the
contest
contest
rules.
modifier.
Yeah, contest rules again.
Right.
So.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I hope that wasn't
But-
a one-time thing.
Yeah.
My
Actually-
biggest concern about TwitchCon in September is September's booked with a lot of things. I have no time, especially to be crowded.
Borderlands.
There's no way. Code Vein, I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter World, Destiny, Borderlands.
Yeah.
I need
All very grindy games. I'm going to be grinding. Although maybe I could take my Stadia, Stadia, plug it in the hotel, whatever.
a time loan.
I think we need to hire
Just need
people. We
internet.
need to get some
yeah.
underage
A Chromebook.
workers grinding our characters for us.
Wow.
Right?
Too
I think
far.
this is the new plan, right?
Briar, don't you have kids?
Actually,
No.
really fast because I don't want to hijack Twitter questions, but I forgot. That was the other thing for Datto is in regards to contests, since we just brought it up. I did some math real fast when I saw they tweeted out Bungie that 45,475 Guardians beat the Crown of Sorrow raid in the first week. And they were reminding people to get the raid jacket with that number. So 45.4 thousand beat the raid in a week, which is roughly 7,500 teams. And according to Raid Report, that would have been about 600 people or so, or 1%, finished the raid in that first contest 24 hours. Are you guys still there? Everybody
Yeah.
looks frozen.
I'm still here.
Watts is frozen.
Okay.
But I think
Hefty
everybody
and
else
Datto
is
are
frozen.
frozen. Wait, I thought Datto was like the more intent that Tef,
Yeah, man,
Datto.
you look like oh, Fran, this is a really good question. Let me put my thinking cap on.
I just broke. Oh no.
I think Seattle. I think we're having a. Yep, this is a Discord issue. Chat, stand by, chat. We might have to refresh this. Seattle internet. Chat, am I still here? Make sure I'm still here. Chat, am I here? Yes. Okay. All right. So my internet's not dead. Perfect. Let me leave this call and recall. We are currently calling. I'm on my own, guys. It's my podcast now, guys. What are we talking? I want to talk about unlimited frames, and I want to talk about the beauty that is the Church of Unlimited Frames. It welcomes all. You don't have to worry. If you're just on 30 FPS, it's okay. You're welcome to the Church of Unlimited Frames, guys. It is A-okay. Also, Discord is completely broken right now. Yes, all hail the Unlimited Frames, guys. Welcome. Welcome to the first sermon of the Unlimited Frames podcast, brought to you by Tefty Teft. And sponsored by Delicious Iced Coffee. Yes, I shall preach the good word of the Unlimited Frames, guys. Yes.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Well,
there we
It's
go.
back.
I switched.
All
I
right.
switched the server to US West, and that seems to have fixed
Awesome.
it.
So that concludes my first podcast of the Church of Limited Frames. Thanks for coming through, guys. Really appreciate that. Let's continue back to the podcast. Okay, go.
Oh
Damn, I'm
my
sorry, I
God.
missed it.
Did you hear any
okay.
of my question?
Yeah. So you said 45.4 thousand people beat the raid, and of that 700 beat it on the first day, and that was like 1%.
1%. So yeah, what do you think of contest? Is it maybe? Well, no, I'm not. I don't want to lead. Like, do you think it's enough people getting in? Do you think the challenge is right in terms of the difficulty?
I absolutely thought it was right. I think this raid was very, very well tuned with the contest modifier active. I liked that, it wasn't Last Wish, but it also wasn't Scourge of the Past, right? Like, it wasn't Last Wish. It was like two teams, but it wasn't Scourge of the Past. everyone like 8,000 teams getting it done on the first day just because it ended up being so easy. So
Right.
I think what we got this time around was better. I like the amount of time that it took for that first clear. It's about 5 hours. I mean, a little less than 5 hours.
So,
But around that, I thought that was good.
right.
Yeah.
But your team was, where did you place?
Are we doing this right now?
No, you guys placed 2, right?
Yes.
I know that. But just for people
Fran.
listening, Dad, like, it's fine. You did amazing.
I didn't know
in
if
the
we were
race.
memeing or what.
Subject,
Oh,
Fran.
gosh.
Jesus.
He's still hurting. I'm sorry.
Every time
Dude,
he looks at
number
his
2 is
Teraba,
amazing.
he gets reminded. All right.
Okay, fair, touchy subject. I thought we were cool, and I just messed it up. Okay, to that point, but of the first 24 hours, Datto, the average completion time I calculated was 17 hours and 48 minutes within that first 24 hours for everybody of the 600 people. Top 25 average was about 8 hours, meaning you were in the elite. Was my point.
Yeah.
So, but still, what do you think of that? Like those averages? Is that where you
think
want it?
It can maybe be brought down a little bit. That top 25 teams, 8 hours. If that was brought down maybe to like 7, I think that would be a little bit better. I thought I always think the that 5 hours is a good world first time. And if you can make the raid last 5-6 hours for the world first team, I think that's a solid time for it. 2 hours too quick. 18 hours a little bit much. So I think where it is probably among the best in terms of balance that we've had for any of these raid races in a while.
Just that 6 hours lead up.
That was rough.
Yeah, like
that was rough, but I understand they kind of put themselves in a bad situation because they announced the raid and then they got all this feedback and then they put contest in after the fact, but they can't change the raid time because they already announced it and people taking off work. And
right. That makes sense.
So, it was just an unfortunate side effect of it. But I'm very glad that contest was still part of it. I'm glad that race to the max power is still a part of it because I think that's a really fun thing to have for the raid is that preparation. Maybe not so much hoarding gambit bounties, but playing that 6 hours and just trying to get as many power increases as you can. I really like that. So yeah, I think this is definitely what I would like to see going into the future. That 5-6 hours, maybe if the raid's a little bit longer, you push it 7-8 hours. But yeah, I thought this was a very good.
I think it's a little fatiguing though, because like if you had 24 hours where it's like you grind, you get as much done in your grind, and then sleep, then like you have your budget. Whereas this one, it was the 6 hours, and then you had to jump in and go solve problems after you've already been solving light level problems for six hours. You know,
it is, but if you want to be the best, right? Like you got to be ready for anything. So if you want to chase that world first title, like buckle down because you got to grind and then you got to go. So.
But my butt hurt so bad after 18 hours.
Yeah.
That is we talked to Glad about it, and like it was good. You know, you guys have roughly similar perspectives, like where it's at overall, but there is a health factor to it to keep in mind, I think. Like you know, ideally not 18 hours, right? 17 or 18 hours.
But at the same time, if it goes that long and no one's got it, you better, unless something's bugged with the raid, like you got to keep going, right?
Gamers
there's no other option.
You can't stop the gamers gaming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, I think that's part of the issue. Is you want to make it challenging. So let's just say they're like, you know what, 1%'s a really small number. We want to go for 3 to 5%. But when they do that, suddenly it could break it. That all of a sudden, like, meaning how is it challenging enough that it does take the 5 or 6 hours? Because those people are that good, right? Mm-hmm. So in other words, like when you make it any easier to get past that 1%, maybe suddenly you'd be done in 2.5 hours or something. And so
which is
it's really tough.
It's a tough balance, but if you want to be in that first 24-hour clear, if you want that exclusive emblem, there should be somewhat of an expectation that you got to show up big and you got to dedicate a whole day to getting that thing if you want the thing, because it's the only time that I feel like Destiny PvE is ever competitive whatsoever. Even the game as a whole has any sort of big competition. It's like you're going against the best everywhere. You gotta deliver or you gotta get out. So
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, something I've been pitching, Datto, that you can appreciate is if you can't get number one, if you're not the best, and you're out of the 24 hours though, and you're maybe a tier 2 reward. So in other words, to keep people from sitting on their butts, the first 24 hours and saying, you know what, I'll go for the next level. I don't know. What do you think of that? If there's like maybe a different emblem, not as quite as good, or who knows?
I think that would be fine. Like first 48 hours emblem, maybe it's like, they take away some of the flash of the 24-hour emblem or something like that. I think that would be okay.
Yeah, maybe a second kind of tier of it would help, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think what Toes is saying in chat, exclusive 24-hour emblem for each encounter. That way, if you get like the first couple encounters but you didn't complete it, you still have something to show for.
I had that thought on Scourge. I forgot. That would be great too.
Yeah, because honestly, tiered, like you did 24, 48, 72. That kind of gets a little bit like, well, what do we need here? Like a
yeah.
I think if you're part of the first day rush, that's what's special about it. The first 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one time where Destiny is truly accommodating to that ultra hardcore audience. So I could see, if they just want to keep it that 24 hours and just make it for those guys for one day, sure. But if they wanted to, like, hey, you got it on the second day, we'll give you a smaller thing. I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, and to be fair, right, they do let you get the jacket in this first week. So
first week.
Granted, it's expensive, but they do give you this really cool option if you just participated. So it's been moving in an awesome direction. So
yeah.
Sorry to hijack that, Briar. I was really
no problem.
Burning back to Twitter.
Wayne asks in sort of a creepy way, specifically to Datto. Let's say you had a truth serum hidden in a Bungie mug, and you could have placed it in front of anyone on the last reveal stream. Who would you slip it to, and what would you ask?
Damn, that is creepy.
So if you could ask one question to anybody on that reveal stream and got like the honest, truthful answer, what would you have gone with?
I would have asked Luke how much of an impact Activision truly had on the development of the game going from D1 into D2.
I would love to see them answer that. That would
Solid
be amazing.
question.
That is
Reasons.
good.
Yeah.
We could just go. Never mind. I was gonna say
Wayne,
that's
don't be slipping anybody any Mickeys. That shit ain't right,
we
man.
will. Yeah. No.
Briar, you said it in a much nicer way.
Dougie says, "How do I watch your charity stream? Missed it at work. Have you tried YouTube? They're not on YouTube, but you can go to twitch.tv/GuardianCon and click on the videos tab, and they're all there.
Yep. All of them are there.
Hit pass broadcast, and you can find all of them.
Yep. Stupid Sora says, what are Datto's thoughts on the Iron Banner armor being tied to a quest line as opposed to the bounties?
I think there's more of an issue currently with the quest line itself than the armor being tied to a quest line. I think that that is a pretty novel concept. I think that's neat. But I do also think that some people are trying to get this quest that's supposed to be pretty long and arduous to do all done as soon as humanly possible, and that's maybe not how it was designed to be completed in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I know one of the steps is like getting grenade kills, and like that's brutal to do. It's like it's rare to get a grenade kill compared to every other kill that happens in Iron Banner. So I think it's more of an issue of the quest itself being kind of rough, but it's also people trying to get it done really quickly when it's not supposed to be done really quickly. But I like that there's an Iron Banner quest for like an old armor set that you can't get anymore. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah, but Pro tip also, make sure you get your swarm before you turn in that quest. Otherwise, your loot pool is diluted with armor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are hunting that swarm, get it first, then turn in the quest for completion. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of pieces of armor that are not Swarm of the Raven.
Yeah, if you can do that, yeah. But if you are just playing a lot of Iron Banner and you leave your quest step on a step, that means you can't make more progress towards the quest. So it's like, well, what do you care about more?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But getting a Swarm of the Raven shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Oh, think about what you care about more. Because also, maybe you care more about having those enhanced perks. Maybe you haven't been able to do like the raid to have good chances at it. And Dreaming City was kind of like your only place to find it. This is a good place for you to try and farm that, especially if you have leftover tokens. Do the quest, turn in a bunch of tokens, and you will get enhanced perks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's right. So if you didn't finish the quest, you're not getting armor drops, is what you're saying.
Yes.
In the pool. But once you do, they get added to the pool?
For that character.
Yeah, like I have the boots on my Titan, and then I opened up a bunch of packages, and I got boots, and then a whole lot of other weapons. Only boots, though. Like I didn't see any
That's what
other
just
armor
happened
boots.
to me, actually. I just got the boots, and I got a bunch of... I opened like 3 packages last night. I think I got all boots. Crap. Taft, where were you last night?
Here's the thing.
It's only for one character,
yeah, it's for
though.
one
So
character.
you can get on your other character, and
so I can
you
use
won't
my
have the
tokens
quest
on a different
done.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what Watt said.
Yep.
Just do it on a different character that has no progress.
Yeah. So for everybody who only has one character, I'm so sorry.
I think that's probably the way to go, is to like do the quest, just play a ton of Iron Banner on one character, complete the quest as soon as you can, and then just save all of those tokens and dump them on another character. If you want to Swarm of the Raven.
Tell you what feels really good is when you hoard all the time and you check your dim during the
You
show.
already got a
realize,
swarm?
I already have a
Swarm of the
swarm
Raven.
sitting there that everyone made fun of me for. Yes. I got to do nothing now.
Yeah, that's right. I got 60 edge transits in my vault. That's right.
you
right,
totally
chat.
have an edge. Dude, you must have several edge with spike and
I
hard
do.
launch. Like,
Confirmed, I looked.
Oh my God. That is beautiful.
Luke says, when Destiny goes mostly free to play, how large of a boost in the player population do you think there will be?
Millions.
A significant one.
It's going to be bulging.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many people are actively on Steam and on, PlayStation, Xbox. It's a lot of people. So I know saying millions sounds like, well, that's absurd. But there are a lot of people that play on those systems.
If you just think about going to Steam, right? Just think about going to Steam and having a free-to-play version of Destiny.
Dude.
Like, there are tons of people who are constantly looking for free games on Steam.
Yeah.
Destiny is going to be up there.
It's going to be in the top 10 like all the time because
I would imagine.
Because Destiny inherently plays phenomenal. Especially, I mean, if you haven't seen it on PC or played it on PC, it plays really good on PC. Like when XQC was started up, he was like, God, this is so good. Wow, this game feels amazing on PC. And like that is one of the things you walk away. So it going free to play, like it's going to stay in the top 10 on Steam like permanently.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what Forsaken had with a player base, but let's just assume it was 1 to 1.5 million. I think you could get a million in for sure during September and into October.
Dedicated.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's before Stadia comes out, and again, we'll see where that goes in November.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get hundreds more.
Yeah, it's tough to say what the retention rate is going to be for like these platforms, but it's got to be massive because like Warframe's a great example. It's all consistently in the top 10 on Steam, and I think Destiny's shooting mechanics are of the best.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Having a free-to-play FPS of Destiny's caliber in terms of how it plays, people are going to load that up and be like, ooh, this feels really nice. This looks really pretty.
Yeah, get ready for Crucible on PC, man. That is going to
It's going to be amazing.
Crazy in September. But they don't have a spike nade sitting in the vault. So you got a little
True enough. Eric Velasquez says, any ideas on how to make Warlock bonds more visible? Right now, they're just meh. Maybe Tefty has some ideas. I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
You're the Warlock Bond Master, dude. You
Huh?
love them.
What?
You are a warlock.
I think Discord's breaking, guys. Something. You're all frozen to me. It's so weird.
I shade them, by the way. In the past, I've just try every shader possible, and sometimes they pop.
Oh, I'd never shade those bonds.
Oh,
I
so you
shaded.
have shaded them.
No,
Busted.
they're so insignificant.
Busted.
They're
You
not.
wear them.
They're not a cloak. They're not a butt towel. I mean, come on. The bond. The bond on a warlock.
It's just inherently not very flashy
No.
in general.
Right.
Not at all.
That's the best you can do is try to shade them.
Yeah,
out.
I would
Find
get
friends.
one that has like a holographic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
That's
animation. to
that's
it,
really all
maybe.
you can do. Yeah.
Mr. Goodbye says, as a group, you've offered some crazy incentives for charity. What's been the hardest for each of you to follow through with? And what incentive are you happy didn't get met?
Trying to talk Patrick into actually doing stuff was pretty rough. Not gonna lie. It's,
Well, poor Patrick.
it's been a journey that has not been as successful.
To be fair,
No.
Pope is very pushy. Again, I showed up on our call, and he's like, "Yo, so put you down for the mullet." I was like, "What?" And that was like $2,500.
Pope
It
is
was like
very aggressive.
yeah, he's a good negotiator in that sense because he's just gonna try to like throw it at you, walk away. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, you feel like
No,
you're at
Fran, I looked at that list and it said like Briar has to eat like a pound of crawfish every
15.
10 minutes.
Oh, right.
Like it was like some
What?
crazy shit. I'm like, first of all, where am I gonna get these crawfish? I live in Connecticut.
DCP was going to cover the cost, so I don't really see what the problem was.
Where am I gonna get crawfish in Connecticut?
Amazon?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Crawfish.
order crawfish from Amazon the day of the stream.
Yeah, it's just one of those white vans show up and like throw a
Yeah.
box of crawfish on your door.
You go to a restaurant, and be
White
like,
van
"Listen,
crawfish.
Dude, I googled
At 9
Amazon
p.m. at night.
crawfish. I googled Amazon crawfish, and there's for $105.50, 50 pounds of bulk Louisiana
Bulk.
fish fry crawfish.
Hard
shrimp, and
pass.
crab. Oh no, wait, it's seasoning. That's only the seasoning.
seasoning.
Never mind.
50 pounds of
Which
seasoning.
one's a secret?
Yeah. All right, you gotta eat that
Say.
instead.
50 pounds for $100.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
That would have been good.
That would have been terrible fish.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
really cheap.
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty happy that I didn't have to get a butt tattoo. I
We
would
were
have
a little
gladly
concerned.
done it.
Yeah.
I would have gladly done it, for the charity, but I was relieved that I didn't have to get a tattoo.
You were looking
Yeah.
a little sweaty.
All of my incentives the past 2 years have been hit like really aggressively. So I guess I don't really have one that I wish I didn't hit. I guess maybe the Marsov cosplay one, just because I know how much of a pain it's going to be to get that one to happen.
Danielle shows up.
Every single,
Every single
Busted.
one that I pre-planned
every single
before the
goal,
stream.
Every single.
She's
Go.
like, "Oh no, you didn't, dude. You got busted."
When
She's
my
talking
wife
about,
was
by the
spreading the hot wax on my arm to tear it off, like I was really having like second thoughts, like real regrets in life. Even when I went to the store to buy that, I'm like, am I really going to wax myself like in public? Is this what
How's that arm
this is what my
looking?
life is now?
Yeah, how smooth?
your arm?
How
How's
smooth
your
is that
arm,
right
Brian?
arm?
Dude, it's smooth as a baby's bottom. Like I can't
Wow.
stop touching it.
Really?
At least
I
you
told
didn't
you
do
these,
your
like,
chest.
Beautiful.
Rubbing it.
I had to do my chest last year. By the way, the thing that Danielle just came in about is at $100,000. If we raise $100,000 on my block, we had to get a dog, but
Ooh, yeah,
that one
puppers.
was not prearranged before the stream. That was one that was thrown on, which is why I didn't include
By
it.
her?
By
Did she just
Danielle,
want a
by-
dog?
By her, yes.
See, that's just
That's pretty smart.
that's just a life enhancement, though, man. You get a dog,
Yeah.
a sweet
Look.
doggo.
I'm not ready yet. Okay. The only pet I just
That's
heard her
understandable.
cackle. The only pet that I've had in my life was a cat that lived for 16 awful years. This thing was terrible. So I never developed any sort of emotional attachment to having
Aw.
a pet. So to me, it's just like more
Watts is
things I
breaking.
need to worry about in my life and
It's
not
also
like
kind of like having a baby together. It's like the same thing. It's a big commitment.
It's-
Briar, it's exactly the same. Take this from me. Who knows
So,
everything
yeah.
about
It's like
okay.
I also just bought a house and I would like to live in the house. a little bit more
Dog
before
free?
it starts smelling like dog everywhere.
Just get it
Yeah.
cleaned off, and your dog won't dog up the house. Trust me. We got it. We got a
You know, I
doggo.
think
Yeah.
dogs are, I think, especially hard for young people who still like to go out at night or take impromptu vacations to like TwitchCon or GuardianCon or something like that. Because you really have to line up like who's taking care of this dog. If I want to go out tonight, like is the dog gonna be okay without us? Like
That is
dogs,
why-
like I feel like dogs are great when you're starting a family and you're gonna be around more anyway. But when you're like still single or even like even if you're married but still like not tied to like staying at home every night, like
Nah, this is
it's
easy.
rough on a dog too.
This is easy. You
I was
just
gonna
go
say, I don't
down.
go out a lot.
You drop off the dog at Watts' house. She'll Watts. You're fine with watching the dog, right? Right? Okay.
My cats would be
It's like,
terrible.
I gotta
Convince,
go.
convince Holtz or Triple.
He
I'm
now
sure.
has cats too. Triple doesn't have
I
any
bet
pets.
Triple would love to watch a dog.
Triple, there you go.
Triple would
the
all
thing
be
with
about
me
doggo life.
is exactly what Briar was saying. Last year, I think I took I averaged 1 trip a month, right? So it's like it's
Yeah.
like I'm
It
leaving.
doesn't
the house
add up.
once a month on average for like multiple days. It's just so much extra. With Danielle around, it's a little different, but like in
Okay.
in the past
Okay,
couple
final
years,
one.
I've
Travel
just
as
done
well,
so
or
much
no?
travel.
Final
She's
one.
traveled Danielle. I feel like she travels.
She does
You
a
got
lot.
Final one. All you got to do is just drop it off at Luke Smith's house. All right. Just be like, you got to watch my dog for a few days. Don't worry.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure
That
he'll
dog
be
would be
stoked.
with 1 cat and 2 other dogs, which sounds even worse than my 2 cats.
Well, it depends on if they're sociable. They get a quick sniff of each other, bark a little bit, then they're like, all right, let's take a nap.
All right, next Twitter question.
Lola says E3 just passed, and it looks like it's going to be a great year for gaming. Managing time is going to be really difficult. So when is Holtzman going to get his butt tattoo? I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's
honestly.
gonna
I
happen.
wouldn't bank on it.
I'm not sure he ever had any intention of getting it.
Listen, I
But
think
that's so sad.
I think he developed an extreme affinity for Japanese bathhouses and wants to go back every year. I think that's what happened. He's terrified of getting banned.
He didn't even get naked in the bathhouse, dude. So when we went to the onsen, right? The whole thing was that you can't have tattoos, right? But you're wearing a robe the entire time. So the only time that someone would see, especially a butt tattoo, is if you take your robe off. Patrick went and put his feet in a warm pool and then went and took a nap. So even he never
What?
got naked. So he
He
can
never
missing out.
revealed the cheek that could have been
No.
tatted.
He never did.
What if you found out
The
that he
true
has
depths
a tattoo?
of his cowardice
That
are
could get
only
kicked
now
out.
being revealed.
I am deeply.
This is why he ran away
Conflicted.
from the podcast and went and hid in Bungie.
I am so conflicted right now. Oh my god.
Beside himself.
Rhinehead Jim says, question for all, do you think we will see current armor modified via collections, for example, for Armor 2.0? Or do you anticipate having to re-earn gear that's been recoded for the system when Shadowkeep drops? I think we know the answer to this at this point, Grindhead. I think that you're going to have to get new armor for Armor 2.0, except for the Eververse stuff, which will become ornaments.
I think it's most likely.
ETF Aaron says, if you could choose one weapon and armor piece, Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, to be able to keep in Destiny forever, what would it be?
Armor
ETF,
piece.
none of them. I like playing with new stuff. I don't want to be stuck with the same old
No,
shit
ornament.
for 6 years in a row.
What if it's an ornament, though? Is that what even?
I think
Sorry, what's
Freeze
happening?
again?
if you're gonna stick
Did
with
I
an armor
freeze?
piece, no, you didn't freeze. You're good.
It's just a dumb comment.
Yeah, we're all
whoops.
processing this right now. Like I'm thinking about stupid things like one eye mask for the
Oh man,
lulz.
if you could transfer something from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 is my favorite question of all time. 100%. It's my favorite. I don't know. I'm with Briar. Like I want whenever new stuff comes out, I want to try and use the new stuff. I don't want to carry anything over. Universal ornaments, little different situation because to me it's basically all new armor that I'm getting to use now. But yeah, I want as soon as Shadowkeep comes out, all my year 2 armor gone to the bank or gone. Maybe I'll keep 1 or 2 sets. That's it.
I don't
was gonna
believe
say-
in Destiny 3.
It doesn't
Yeah,
exist.
I was gonna say we all got different answers.
You
I was
might
gonna
as
say
well
I want
ask me like, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. Let's keep going.
I want the Wrath of the Machine raid armor as a universal ornament with the hard shader, the glowing red on it. Then
The ornaments for that were glowy.
They were cool.
They
I used to go into that big room with the diamond thing and all the red, and like I would just stand there and be like, hold on, guys. I would just stand and look at myself because it was so cool.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was D1 stuff. I'm trying to think of like the D1 armor.
D1 or D2.
Yeah.
Well, it's already all in the game for the most part.
I'd probably want to just
Age
have
of
like a
Triumph
bunch
armor.
of. I'd want a bunch of cloaks for my hunter. There was a lot of good cloaks.
Chatterwhite. How about the Chatterwhite shader?
Oh, a shader.
There's
Could
a
be shader,
trial
maybe.
shader, which is
Yeah.
basically Chatterwhite.
Is it it's
You
the
just can't get it anymore.
Benevolence of the
Yeah.
Nine, I think, is the one I use. Yeah, it's really awesome.
It's a relic.
Yeah.
Jay Cooper says, "What advice would you give a father/chef/avid gamer to keep a good balance of everything in life?"
It's hard. I would assume. I'm not a parent or a chef, so I just.
What would you say?
I said it's hard, but I'm not a parent or a chef,
Wow.
so I don't know if I can
Yeah,
answer this.
I feel like that's entirely on that person. Like, what do you want to prioritize more in your life, right? Like, there's only so many hours in the day, so you have to make sacrifices in certain areas in order to do the other things that you want to do or maybe don't want to do or something like that. So I think it completely depends on your perspective of what you do and do not want to do with your life, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
the
know
only-
I'm as busy as ever, and I don't have time for everything that I want to do anymore.
The only
I've had to
thing
make
that
sacrifices
I've
as a
ever
result.
done to try and make it a bit better is try and move my schedule all down a little bit, like earlier. So like I stop streaming earlier so that I cook earlier so that we have more time in the evening to do the things that we want to do. That's the only thing that I've found that I could do to try and control it at all. But of course, like your work hours are going to dictate that. I know chefs work insane hours. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and
I agree with Datto to some extent in that, like, you're going to want to, like, if you really want to pursue a career as a chef, you're going to have to go into that hard. And like, you're going to have to spend a lot of time being a chef, and that means less time with your family and, your games. But I do think that if you really concentrate on being present with your family when you are with your family, that makes a big impact. Instead of, sitting there at the breakfast table, like thinking about my, what I need to do today as a chef or what I need to do today in Destiny while your kid is reading the cereal box, to really like be present with that kid and to be having a discussion or fooling around with that kid. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, those little tiny memories are the kind of stuff that really lasts like a long time. Like, you might not realize it, but he might always have, or your kid might always have that memory of, oh, remember that time we were talking about some bullshit at cereal that day, So being present, like, really makes a big difference, especially if you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's some good advice.
Yeah, and one last thing I'd like to say is that in Destiny, don't feel obligated to have to do everything. Like, just pick the things that you really like, enjoy that aspect. Don't feel like you have to grind for everything.
Totally. As this game gets wider and wider, too, it seems
Yeah.
just there's endless amounts of stuff that I could be doing during the week. But sometimes I want to play some Mutant Year Zero, god damn it, or some Lego Horizon 4.
That's what Briar's been doing, and the
That's why he's
Tefty
not
yelled at
750.
him and said he better get the 750 before
Lego
Tuesday.
Horizon 4 is fun, man. You're driving like a Testarossa through Legoland. It's awesome.
Well, Tefty's gonna be driving you through heroic mode if you're not careful.
When the cars crash, Lego pieces come off.
Ooh, that does sound fun.
It's fun. You get to build a house in a garage. Steven says, first time caller, long time listener. If your significant other was about to have their feet taken away from them, and the only way to save their feet, was to become a lifelong warlock, would you do it?
I don't think Tomo would want me to do this, if I'm honest. I think he'd
No.
prefer
How much
to
are
sacrifice
wheelchairs?
his
I think
leg
not that much
to-
money, right?
Yeah. You get
It gives you a
robotic
little
legs.
Good quality of life.
You get robotic legs. You can like customize them. Put
Oh,
some
those
flashy
ones like
lights
they're
on
like
them.
carbon fiber, like
Yeah,
springs.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
man. Like you can run. You'd be the bionic woman.
Yeah.
Make a good point, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Toma would not want me to do that. We're both hunters. We only play
Mm.
hunters. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it. What kind of question?
Yeah, I was going to say that I would potentially do that for memes. But now that I think about it, we are about 20, 30 years away from some super intelligence AI solving all of our problems that would then give me
Right.
that would then give bionic legs. So no, we're good.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Anders Lewis says, for Datto, what is the most optimal way to DPS a grilled cheese? Cutting it diagonally or straight down the middle?
I do diagonal.
It depends on if I have soup or not.
Mm.
If I don't have soup, I go down the middle. If I do have soup, I cut it on diagonal because I feel like it's easier to dunk it into the bowl.
Wow.
Totally agree.
Nice. You've changed my approach.
So I just naturally go for the diagonal.
It feels fancy.
Yeah, because I like seeing the partitioning of the sandwich that way, the grilled cheese sandwich. But I'm not like 100% only one way.
Dreadnought says, you will be granted $10 million, but there's a catch.
Of course there is.
A snail will be chasing you for the rest of your life. If it touches you, you will die a terrible death.
Oh.
The snail is immune to death and knows your location 24/7. Do you take the $10 million or leave it?
No. I don't
No,
go. I don't leave
I
this
ain't
spot
taking
enough
it.
to warrant it.
Yeah, good point.
It'll get
Not
here.
exactly
but I
a
have
hard
times
target.
where like 2 weeks, I don't leave. I don't do nothing. It's just here, that room, and downstairs, and that's it. He'll eventually find one of them.
But you got 10 million. You can move to an island.
You can't. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
feel
10
like
million, if you're moving all the time, 10 million ain't gonna last like you think.
I
it's
would
gonna
have to
last.
equate how fast a snail can move over a period of time and then base it on like where I could move in the world and how long it would take for it to get there and then just move back and forth.
That's true. Because say if it takes like 10 years for a snail to get from where you are right now to like Italy,
Yeah.
you'd be like, all right, I can hang out for 10 years, relax, not worry about it, and then just leave again. When
Yeah.
I see
What
that.
if-
A garden snail can move 0.029 miles per hour.
Okay,
there you
but
go.
what if? So
I have no reference for
hold
that
on.
number.
We have to keep in mind here. This isn't just your everyday snail. This is a sentient, aware. It has to.
But it's not
Could
it set a
teleporting
trap?
snail.
Well,
Yeah, I was like, why can't you just put
Like
it in
hang
a
out in
jar and
LA,
be
be
done
like,
with it?
yeah, that motherfucker moved to Italy in 10 years. I know he's coming back to Italy to LA, so I'm just gonna be waiting for him.
Well, okay, but so it depends on the snail. Does the snail have intelligence like that, or is it just like I must go to this location at all times? Does it think?
We're gonna need some follow up.
I think
Trevor.
there's
Yeah,
a
this
follow
is
up.
a follow-up.
We're gonna need to
Snail.
know more. We need more information about this snail.
Yeah.
I'd take the 10 mil, put the snail in a jar, and then another jar, and then like you
I
can't kill
think
it.
it,
They didn't
I don't
say
think it
it.
would work
It won't
that
die.
way.
It says it won't die.
It won't die,
It's
but we're not
impossible.
It
going
won't die,
anywhere.
but it's trapped in a jar. What the
All
fuck
right,
is it
so-
gonna do? It's a snail.
I'll
in
freeze
20
it in an ice block, put it in there.
In 24 hours, in
North
24
Pole.
hours, it could go 0.7 miles.
Oh, you're
Oh.
good. Just move.
That's decent distance. To
I
Trap it or
think
move.
if I did my calculation correctly.
0.0029 was it?
5,000 miles away.
See, I'm
0.029.
just saying though, the snail could be
24.
intelligent enough to where it hitchhikes on like a plane or a
Yeah.
boat or like,
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? It could
intercontinental
it could
snail
jump.
travel.
It could jump onto a box. I mean, not jump. Like it could crawl up onto a box.
now.
No, not. I'm
So
sorry.
assuming
it was
that-
the wrong language. Sorry.
Assuming it goes
Right.
0.7 miles in a day, it can go almost 21 miles in a month. And in a year, it could go 250 miles. So 2,500 miles in 10
Yeah, but what if it gets on a
years.
plane,
Yeah.
Data?
So that means
Yeah.
you could live in Washington
The next day
For
airs
10
itself.
for 9
and then
years.
move to like Connecticut
You just
for
go the
10
other way.
years and go back and forth, and
Yeah.
it would never technically catch
See,
it.
that'd be
What
exactly.
if it hops a
Easy
ride on
solution.
American
2 homes.
Airways?
I'm telling you, it just.
That's true. You
Then-
don't
then-
account for
Again,
for
I
the
don't
fact
know
they
if this is an assassin snail Does it have a
We
credit
need more
card?
information
Like,
on the snail.
I need to know more of these things.
Can the snail
What-
talk?
Does it have
What is
access
the
to
credit
internet?
score of said
Mhm.
said snail?
Does the
We really
snail
need to
play
know.
Destiny? That's what I
Does
want.
the snail
Is
play
the snail a
Is
warlock?
it a fucking warlock? Sounds like a warlock.
Shows up on the mic in a raid with you.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, dude, I'm coming for you, man. I got playing.
coming
First,
for
you want to
ya.
knock
I'm
out this
playing
raid real
Stadia
quick?
right now, and I'm gonna get you.
The Mohican 9 says, which is the most grown-up drink? Coffee, alcohol, or water?
Coffee.
Water.
Because this matched you guys with Iron Banner yesterday. Couldn't stop smiling. I saw you, Mohican 9.
Yes, I saw
yeah, I
Mohican.
saw
Yeah.
him in the tower too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I think the most grown-up drink is water. Because, like, once you're drinking water, like, say you have coffee, alcohol, and water, like, presented to you at the same time. When you're drinking water, it's because you're making grown-up decisions.
Man, I gotta.
I'm
grow
It
100%
worked
up.
like
water.
that for me.
Water.
Took me a long time to be able to drink any type of caffeine.
That said, I prefer coffee and beer all day long.
I don't know.
And Briar is the most grown up of us. So.
I feel like,
Maybe technically.
honestly, guys, I feel like in order to drink alcohol properly, you have to be a grown up. But you can drink water and coffee, like, you can drink too much water and kill yourself. You can drink, you know,
You
so
drink too much of anything.
drink too much of anything. So I think alcohol
Not
takes
coffee.
the most. Alcohol takes the most cognitive reasoning to not overdo it to be able to continue drinking alcohol.
But
for a
also takes
lifetime.
it away from you once you start drinking it.
Yeah, that's why it could be the most.
That's what I'm
adult.
saying. It takes the
agree.
most adult approach to drink alcohol properly.
Yeah, and regularly.
Yeah, and regularly.
See, Briar's not comprehending it because
Because he's
Have a
not
few
an
before
adult.
the-
He's not an
did you
adult.
get a couple
I don't
in before the show?
Zachary Richens says, hello, everyone. My question this week, when taking a nap, what is your average nap time? 30 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours? For me, a nice 2-hour nap is perfect. We've actually had this conversation, but I don't think we've ever had it on the air.
So, yeah. Okay. So I have a principle. You cannot go into REM sleep, otherwise you will be groggy. You need to set that alarm.
This is 100%.
Do not go over
Yes.
30 minutes. You want to set it for 20 minutes if you want to have a little like
Yes.
groggy, like not groggy, but like a little wake up period. If you go over 45 minutes, you hit a REM cycle. And if you hit a REM cycle, your sleep cycles.
You're waking up
screwed.
groggy.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm sleeping for not 3 hours, 5 hours. And
Yeah.
I'm waking up, and then my schedule's terrible. Then I eat some food, then I stay awake till
Yep.
6
Exactly.
o'clock in the morning,
It's like a
and then
whole
maybe I
nother
go
day.
back.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of people will be like, oh, I can't do naps because, you just get so groggy. And I'm like, well, how long are you napping
Right.
for? And they're like, hour and a half,
You're
2
napping
hours.
too long.
Too long of a nap. Cut it to 20 minutes. You'll be like, oh, I'm up. All right. I napped. I'm good. It's great. It'll change your life. 20-minute naps.
There is an amendment to
don't
this,
operate like
Tefty.
that.
Yeah,
There's
does
an
that-
amendment to this, Tefty. Is I recently got an Apple Watch, and one of the apps that I got for the Apple Watch can measure your REM sleep compared to your regular sleep, and has an alarm setting that will only allow the alarm to wake up when you're not in REM sleep.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this works for mornings, and it also works for naps.
Wow.
So you can
that sounds great.
set an alarm, and the watch will ignore the alarm until you're no longer in REM sleep, and then wake you up.
Wow.
I used to use something like that measured you you move a little more when you're not in REM sleep. So when you wake up, it would try to
your heart
yeah.
rate and your breath, I think.
That's awesome. That actually could work for you. But does Datto sleep at all or nap or what's your method?
No, I mean, I wish I could nap like that. Usually, whenever I'm like, I want to go take a nap, and I lay down, I'll set an alarm for like 45 minutes or something like that. I usually just end up sleeping for like almost 2 hours, like almost every time without fail. So I just try
alarm doesn't
naturally
wake you?
not to nap. No, I sleep like a brick.
Wow.
Like
Oh, really?
Man,
I'm a brick.
lucky.
One of my kids is
So-
like that. Alarms don't wake him up. It's very disturbing. 'cause,
Yeah,
like, how are you
some
gonna, like,
sometimes I
work?
do, sometimes I
How are
don't.
you going to be a functioning adult?
Yeah.
But like I know that if I'm making the decision to go lay down in bed to take a nap, that I should be done with the things I need to be done with for the day, because after I get up, I'm not gonna want to do anything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, Data. I cannot actually like take a nap if I've got stuff I've got to do.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be okay. I'm done with everything. You know what? I got a little time for a nap. Maybe if the podcast is later, like that's different. But if I got like real work to do, like
Yeah.
I took a nap
Yeah.
before the
No, I
podcast
can't.
today.
I take a nap
I
almost
did.
every day
So
before
you
the
have the-
podcast because
Yeah.
it makes me feel more refreshed. and
Exactly.
It's like a late night for
I
me.
can't take a nap.
Get a
Yep.
recharge.
Yeah. So like,
I try not to nap during the week. I save it for weekends, but during the week, I try not to.
yeah. So yeah, I'd say, look into it. Sleep is one of the most important things you should do. So number one, actually get enough sleep. Don't fall into the rise and grind and tell yourself you don't need sleep, because people do that for years and it takes years off your life. But beyond that, a nap, if you can figure it out, I'd say is crucial. And that's why the word siesta exists. And in other countries, like, it's important. And there's something called the circadian rhythm, right? The rhythm of your body. And there's the optimal time to sleep. It tends to be that 2 or 3 p.m.
Yep.
Your body's ready for it. And also I've heard that 20-minute increments, but no longer than like 40 is optimal. So you can maybe go up to there.
Yeah, exactly.
One tip I would have is I have done it too. You can take what's called the espresso nap or something, but like if you sleep well enough, like try to like lay down and have some caffeine that's going to pull you out within 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh, interesting. That's smart.
Yeah, because it doesn't really kick
That is
in
interesting.
for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, so give that a shot if you're
interesting.
really worried about it. Yeah, some people, like, I'm a super finicky sleeper, so I've done it when I'm really tired, but otherwise if I have some, it's just like, I don't know, I just think about it and it keeps me awake. So
Yeah. The saying is, like, if you're solving problems and sometimes you need to sleep on it, like, I feel like that's what naps do for me. If I'm figuring stuff out, I hit a brick wall, then like a nap usually fixes that.
That's actually kind of the best way to learn stuff. So you can say learning a language, right? You can do some studying in the morning, take like a really quick nap, and it actually helps the information get into your long-term memory.
Yep.
So,
yeah, you can
really
actually
good for
look
that.
into brainwave studies, and what happens. Most people, you wake up, your brain activity is going up, and it hits a point 1 or 2 p.m. and it starts to plateau and go down. If you take a nap, you lengthen that plateau. So it really does. It's a huge effect if you
The stride.
look into it. It
Interesting.
really extends, your thinking ability and everything.
I'm glad. Thank you for that question, Zachary. Sith Assassin says, how about the time DCP hits its donation goal, everyone gets a tattoo of the crew eating Briar? I don't think we're
really
going to do a
complicated
tattoo, Sith,
Uh-oh.
but what I could imagine is a pretty cool part of the calendar being kind of like a Thanksgiving banquet.
yeah, that would be that would be great. I'm down with that. Or we could get pin-up Briar tattooed on us.
Wow.
Briar's
Jay
like-
Cooper says, if Briar and Fran were playing dodgeball against each other, who would be on their team? Total of 4 players on each team, 3 DCP members, 1 wild card. Fran has first pick, then Briar. So we are the captains of dodgeball teams. Fran, pick first.
Wait, anyone from DCP to start with?
Yeah, you got to pick 2 people from DCP
And a wild card.
and a wild card.
Okay. I'll start with a wild card. I'm just going to grab Crafty. I feel like he's got
Dodgeball snipes.
You think about that wild card now, aren't you, Briar?
Yeah, the wild card
Gotcha
was
on that
big.
one. I got you. It's right to it. Dodgeball snipes. What are you Googling? Like best
Yeah, man.
dodgeball players in the Destiny community? What
Okay,
are
my
you
wild card is Roger Clemens.
Oh, okay. Old baseball player, right?
Okay.
I feel like he's gonna be good at good at throwing a dodgeball.
That is an
pretty
old
quick.
baseball player. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I'm not a good sports.
Yeah, what about Vince Vaughn from
Okay.
Dodgeball, man?
that one? I don't know.
Wasn't actually that good at dodgeball.
No, but they pulled it together. It was like team morality and all that,
I was a pirate guy. I'd have like a fellow
So
pirate.
wait,
to
Yes.
it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
Definitely Watts. I've seen her in the Crucible. I've seen it when she sets her mind to it. She's got the strats, the aim.
There you go.
100%. I'm taking Watts.
I'm not last pick. Let's go.
No.
Very excited.
Tefty's right here, so I'd like to pick him just to make him feel good.
You don't have to.
But-
You don't have to. I can
Pope
go
has
last.
got that killer instinct.
Wait, you
You
go.
know he's gonna take this like super seriously. Like this is gonna be a big deal to Pope
Pope
Bear.
would
We're
have
gonna
the
have like team
competitive streak.
jerseys by the end of this. We're gonna have
That's
sponsorship.
true.
Like the whole shit is gonna be taken care of. I'm picking Pope.
All right. Man, yeah. What's up, Taft? How you doing, man?
Hey, man.
Datto's back. Yeah, no, I actually, as long as
So it's
Taft agrees,
either
to not,
Holtz-
like, yeah, I was really thinking about Holtz, but
Yeah,
I really
he
want Taft on the
does-
team. It's just as long as he doesn't give me the
What if he
the
lectures
lecture.
you?
Yeah,
what
I'm
if-
worried about it. But
It's gonna be
he's
tough to
right,
turn
though.
that off.
That's
It's
the
gonna
thing.
happen.
It's
When
good.
Hefty gets serious, he gets lecturing.
I know.
It's really funny.
But if you don't
And it
embarrass
makes
me in
laugh
front of the
every
rest of the team, Tef, that's what I'm saying. Like, take me to the sideline, then it's cool.
Ooh,
No, like,
you
in
saying
front of
Tafty?
everybody.
I don't
Do
know,
we need to
man.
have like a special
So-
DCP like voice server where it's like Fran's pep talk and then
Yeah, but-
drags him in there?
Just us two allowed. 100%.
So the last pick would obviously be Holtzman, but he's no longer on the podcast, so I'm going
it
to
still counts.
side quest and pulling Eric's, who
Oh.
is a fucking
Oh,
Viking,
wow.
He is a
and he's like
Viking.
18 feet tall.
He is
We
18 feet
win.
tall.
It's over.
Okay.
Are you
It's
kidding me?
over.
The bigger
Wow.
you
But
are,
can
the
he
easier you are to
dodge?
hit with the dodgeball.
Dude,
Yep.
you
those
wouldn't even throw the
strats.
ball at him. He's too big and intimidating.
We were
You'd be
picking
like,
dodgeball.
Nah, I'm good. I'm not throwing that ball.
I'm still going with Holtz. I'm not going to kick him to the curb just because, like, he moved on for a bit and he wouldn't get the tattoo and he wears robes in the,
He does.
So does that mean I didn't get picked at all?
No, I
you're
already
not-
picked you. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? I said as long as you agreed. What are you saying? You
Yeah,
won't
you said you were
accept?
going with Holtz.
I've never
No.
seen
I picked
terms
you.
and conditions in a dodgeball contract.
I
before.
picked you, Taft, and I totally went, and we agreed that we're going to do it just under those conditions. And then
I don't
that's
know
why
if I can
Brian
agree to
went
those
and picked-
conditions, man. I might have like a
He
moment.
won't be able to.
Here we go.
I might
There's
have
a
a
rider on this contract.
just like a certain inspiration happens on like the final game, and I'm like, Fran, I've been seeing something. I need you to like, I just correct this one little thing that's been happening on your toss, man.
You can't change who you are. That I respect it.
You got to run at that third
right.
ball in right here. Third
All
ball.
right.
Run
We got
right
a
at it.
dodgeball team. So in summation, me
Yes.
is Crafty, it's
Uh-huh.
Watts, it's Teft, and it's Holtz.
Yep. Oh, you got
wow.
Holtz?
I think we're gonna
Yeah.
win, Briar. I'm sorry.
I'm
And you
sorry.
got-
We got Roger Clemens,
Yeah, but he's never.
a professional baseball player on steroids.
Yeah, they don't move that much.
But,
It's fine.
all right, go through because we only have so much time up.
Eric's and Pope.
Pope. And you? No, wait. And didn't you?
Frankly, me and Pope can just sit on the bench for this one.
Okay. Datto's returned in the meantime, so
I'm back. Yeah.
welcome back.
I lost my place. That's it. That's all the questions for tonight. Let's go. Let's go.
Briar's just like,
Go play some
"Man,
dodgeball?"
I don't just freaking
Let's go
get-"
play some
He's excited
dodgeball.
about dodgeball. All right.
He's fired up,
Get out of
man.
here.
He's ready to.
Fired up for some
Make some
We
dodgeball.
used to play dodgeball at July 4th every year, but the
Dude, I'm
guy who used to do it in his backyard moved.
What if next year Guardian Con our
That-
goal
yeah.
is
To play
DCP
Dodgeball?
dodgeball?
DCP dodgeball.
Can it be water
tourney.
polo? Do you throw? Was it not water dodgeball? Because we should play in the pool. That'd be sweet.
I do like pools, and I do like dodgeball.
It's just gonna
Sounds
Briar's
good.
just gonna be in the pool
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
Come on, that's
I'm really surprised, Brian.
Actually, super fun. Let's do that.
What if it's DCP pool volleyball with a
Oh my
bar
gosh.
in the island of the pool?
Yeah,
I love this
This
idea.
is
It
also
sounds
good.
wonderful.
I want like secret like.
Sounds like a great way to get a lot of alcohol in the pool.
Yeah,
Physically in the pool
Physically
because you'll
in the
knock
pool.
everything over.
Yep, yep.
Not a bad idea in a public pool, to be honest.
And I do just want to address the elephant in the room because he's been back for a while now, Briar. He was back when you chose Eric's. Is that you didn't choose Datto for your wild card? He's sitting right here.
Unbelievable, Briar.
Kind of, it was a little weird.
I'm sorry. I chose the professional MLB
Baseball
pitcher who's on
player.
steroids.
I am
Sorry,
hurt.
my bad.
It's messed up. Man.
Very competitive.
Just like Pope.
If it was a raid, I would totally choose that.
Fair.
Roger Clemens wouldn't even make the list.
That's a good point, Brian.
I still don't know why
Good
he's a
save.
good dodgeball player.
Yeah, I know,
We'll
right?
Roll with it, dude. My God.
I'm looking at Roger Clemens right now. I don't know, man.
I know, me too. I was like, how old is he? That's what I want to know.
You guys don't know who
56.
Roger Clemens is?
He's 56. Okay.
That's still That's still he can
no,
still
you could be a
dodgeball.
kicking dodgeball player. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a lot of back.
I think he's past his
at
prime.
that age.
Past his prime.
He's past his prime. Yeah.
Pretty good.
You think he still does steroids?
Roids?
I mean, once you start, you can't stop. They're like potato chips, right?
All right.
You turn
Yeah.
to jelly, right? If you
Yeah, they're just like Pringles.
Yeah.
Juicing left and right.
Once
you take a
pop,
nap, you wake up,
can't
you juice.
stop. Yeah, but
Once you pop, you can't stop.
wow, we nailed the marketing campaign. Well done, Datto. Oh gosh.
All right. Well, for
What
those
else?
that don't know, I'm not a big baseball fan. I mean, I like baseball, but I don't know the players. That's why I don't know Roger Clemens.
There's this big section in Witcher 3 about baseball. You're gonna love it.
I bet there is.
What are you gonna stream that, Tefty? Do you know
I
yet?
don't know. I'm trying to
Have you planned that
decide. Yeah, I gotta plan it out.
You
I'll
gotta
put-
pick a good time.
Yeah, I'll put it out.
But we want prior notice.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet it out when the Witcher 3
Okay.
stream happens.
No. We want you to announce it on the podcast so that everybody knows.
I will do
I
that.
wanna-
I will.
I don't
mark
wanna miss
the date. I will mark
Thank
the
you.
date.
I don't want to miss Tefty finally getting a chance to play the best game ever made.
I will continue. I'll do. Yeah, I could even. What Tony said in chat, I could do the DLC. I could start Blood and Wine.
Blood and Wine is the best part.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that it?
Let's get out of here.
That's the show, guys. Thanks for
All right.
watching. It's been
We
amazing.
should.
Yeah. Once again, I want to
Make sure-
thank our sponsors, our patrons and sponsors for the support
And sponsors.
on the channel. It's always amazing and humbling. And also thank you to everyone who participated in the GuardianCon streams that have been going on. It's just absolutely incredible seeing all the support and the turnout that's been happening. And honestly, very emotional. It's been a very emotional week seeing all that happen. So thank you guys. Thank you for all that. One more plug. We do have another podcast. It is called DCP Side Quest, and it happens on Mondays, 1 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to hear us talk about things in the gaming world in general,
Like maybe the Iceborne beta this weekend?
Is that happening this weekend?
Oh my
Jesus.
It starts tonight at 3 a.m.
How do you get access to it?
You just play it.
Oh my
forehead.
God!
There's no chance I'm going to be 750.
Briar?
Briar.
I swear to God,
Briar.
Briar.
Prior.
I've been 750 for 2 weeks.
Uh-oh, here goes Teft. It's going to lecture you.
I want to play Iceborne.
Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. Usually start up in the evening time, Pacific time. A couple daytime streams here and there have been sprinkled. You know,
Especially on Tuesday, right?
Exactly.
You're gonna be
that's right.
Early morning for Tefty.
To early relative.
Is it early morning or late night?
For me, it's an early morning, but like,
Okay.
yeah. If I'm up at 7 a.m., I didn't go to bed, but typically, like, I try to
10 a.m. is.
get some sleep and then wake up.
Sorry.
But yeah,
All right.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me shirking responsibility and doing whatever the fuck I want.
I miss 5,000 watts. You can find me playing lots of Fire Banner, trying to get cool things, and probably Iceborne. Just look for Miss 5,000 watts on stuff.
I am Fran Mirabella, and if you like seeing me on the show and want to support me, you can catch me at twitch.tv/FM3_. I'm also in the Epic Creators Store, so it's just Fran Mirabella is my creator code. Is another easy way to support me.
yeah. If you happen to see Fran in Iron Banner, you teabag him. You make sure you use FM3 in the Epic Store when you're buying your skins. Okay.
Also, take a screenshot.
No, Fran Mirabella.
Screenshot of that.
My
Send it
bad.
our way.
Yeah.
We wouldn't mind seeing that screenshot, by the way.
yeah. The teabag
Oh God.
and the code being used.
It'd
in
be,
the
a
Epic
new
Store.
segment on the next week's show.
Yeah. Yeah. This
If you
week in the
do it,
Crucible.
you send us a
Screenshots.
clip. We'll show
This
it.
week in
on the
teabagging
You guys-
Fran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
This
I'm
week
gonna
on
hate you so
Teabag
much.
Thursday, we're gonna our sites on Fran Mirabella in the group.
Yeah, you'll get your creator code used. I mean, anytime somebody's teabagging me, I'm like, thank you. Go use my code. I appreciate it.
That's true.
This is great.
That's how people remember to use it while they're teabagging me. And I'll
They'll
take
be like,
Fran
I
Mirabella.
gotta buy that
in
skin
the
real
Epic
quick.
Store.
Okay.
Perfect. And then we should
Datto?
move to Datto's outro. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Datto. You can find me on the internet, twitch.tv/internet, youtube.com/internet.
Perfect.
Datto, thank you very much for being on the show this week. I know
My
Yes.
pleasure.
you've been super busy, as Yeah, as always.
That was
yeah.
always busy.
Yeah, it's been a little
Never.
been a busy few months, but I always make time for you guys.
Yeah, well, thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
very much.
We really love having you on.
Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next week. GG's.
Bye-bye.